Hey guys, yeah, 2 o'clock on a busy afternoon here as we get into the final couple hours. Lots to discuss when it comes to what's happening as far as the overall market. Fed Chair Powell comes and goes. Really not much really to talk about from that. They did discuss a lot of the things we've heard already. There were a few comments that were a little bit more, I think, on the hawkish side than a lot of people were expecting out of Fed Chair Powell, but that goes to show that they are still watching the data, and he said they're still going to watch the data when it comes to when the rate changes will occur. This is a 15-minute chart of the dollar, so we have had quite a big move down once again today for the DXY all the way to 103.20. Bit of a bounce right now, but the dollar negative in a pretty big way on the overall session. Tech under pressure as well. 0.5% for our Apple here. We've had this big move down in the market over the past half an hour, about an hour, I guess, at this point. 169.25 coming into play right now for Apple. That's how the board is looking overall. We are a little bit worse off than that, but back to negative territory. NVDA chips, it's all about chips, just absolute green right across this entire group. It's actually Intel and QCOM down here leading the way. 4+% for each. AMD 3.6, Broadcom as well ahead of earnings, up nicely 2% on the day. Microsoft, Google lagging once again, 2 days in a row here for the not so magnificent 7, not trying to lead the market as we've seen over the past few months. CRM 2%, still tons of strength here. IBM's up 3% today, if anyone had looked at that. Decent amount of strength in the banking sector. Morgan Stanley notably weak, down 4%. The latest I see on this NYCB is they're looking to raise capital. There's no details as to what that will look like. Still halted, but the latest reports I see is the bank NYCB is looking to raise capital. So still halted on that news pending alert. But yeah, lots to get into here. We were discussing, if you're with us in the first hour this morning, make sure you join us every morning at 8:30. We take you through everything you need to know in the pre-market on a daily basis. This one was top of the list this morning, 10.7% still, but well off the highs here. 365 was the pre-market area, and then it's just been straight downside ever since. Crowdstrike with a great report, but absolutely no follow-through here today, guys, for CRWD.
If there is an opposite to follow-through, like that's Crowdstrike today. Oh. This is like the poster child for why you cannot pay attention sometimes as a day trader to the percentage move on the day, because this has been only trending to the downside. The market is in reversal, no question about it. I'm only in 2 shorts, Alphabet and Marvell, which I guess the position board is working. I did not short CrowdStrike. I had 1 long. I was talking to Obi about this. I had a long in PanW, and sometimes the best trade you make is realizing it ain't good anymore. Because PanW bouncing off of its low of the day, CrowdStrike made a move. It resisted this level here, which was like a double top. Okay, well, that's the first place I'd look, was 287. I got the you-know-what out of Dodge when it failed 287. And if you hang on to that trade, you are destroyed. PanW since has just taken the steps to the downside along with CrowdStrike. And more or less the market, although technically the NASDAQ is green, technicality. It is, like, it's obviously very heavy.
It'll be red soon. Yeah. I just want to say thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you so much to Kyle Burdett. Thank you so much to everybody in there that's recognizing some of the trades that we've had on today. I mean, we just put this Tesla on, like, 178. It's now $1. So there we go. Let's put in the club right there. So there goes $1 on that one. We're also short Apple. So we have 2 dollar club winners on that we had just put on. And we're trying to fish back here on Palantir. We had some great longs right into here on Palantir. Let's see if it holds again. But yeah, man, welcome back to the jungle, to say the least, man. This is exactly the kind of trading that we like around here. Huge moves, big opportunities, and just another great day. So hopefully you guys are here to make some trades this afternoon, because you know I am, and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's just keep the momentum going here. Tesla's $1, Apple's $1, Palantir now a couple pennies, but let's see how high. This name wants to fly up. Wow. Okay, let's go. Good day so far here. The market looks like it wants to bounce back up. I'm many more shares into Palantir than anything else. So let's see what happens. NYCB right now. Big news coming through here. Okay, hold on. I'm hearing the news. They've just raised more than $1 billion in equity. So NYCB probably going to open up banging.
Oh,
so get ready for that one on the long. But here we go, man. We're already face slapping out on Palantir. A nice little dime piece back up to the upside right now. So we'll take a 33 fill and then watch this thing get going to the upside. Man, this has been a great day. Let's go back over to the desk. Oh, we're going to talk about Palantir next.
Hey, what do you know? Yeah, let's touch on it. Keep my eye out for a confirmation of that note on NYCB. I don't see anything official yet, but yeah, it's still halted anyway. So, hey, it doesn't really matter. We'll bring it to you when that does come across for NYCB, again, raising capital. I think everybody knows that already. PLTR, as Sean was mentioning, they're on a bit of a pullback right now, coming off highs. What a reversal on this thing today. 2450 right up through 27 essentially on this note this morning. 178.4 million worth of a new government contract. I mean, it's a contract, it's great, but 178 million?
Yeah, it's, I'd rather see more commercial contracts, Brendo, than all these government contracts. But yeah, it's a project called Titan, which is an acronym for Tactical Intelligence Targeting Access Node, the big vehicles that sound scary. Anyway, guys, this was a project that had a prototype in 2022, which they got $36 million for. Now they're given the full lot for the entire project.
Just remember there's that AI, what was it, AIP Con? Yeah, I think so. AIP Con coming up tomorrow as well that they're supposed to be presenting at. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Here it is right here. Just come over to my screen. I'll just show it to you so we're not blowing smoke here. NYCB raises more than $1 billion in equity led by Mnuchin's firm. Can't remember the name of that, but anyway, so it looks like they are getting, I mean, smart guy there, right? Used to work with President Trump, and obviously there's some kind of a potential bailout situation maybe happening. I don't know, but raising $1 billion in equity,
that's what they need.
Yeah, exactly. So that's I'm going to
quickly before we go.
NYCB.
If you're guessing at when they're going to open it back up,
it just got its whole market cap back.
Just come back to, just go to NASDAQ Trader. Right now, the whole page still says pending news. So this won't open, even though the news is out, this typically won't reopen until you get like T2, T3, which is the news is disseminated. Then you'll get a quote time and then a resumption time. So it shouldn't just open up out of nowhere because the news is out. You should get advance warning on NASDAQtrader.com in the halt page. So you can have that one open if you're stuck in this stock and you happen to be interested in it. But
we like NYCB there. It's going to be a lot of opportunities, so we'll stay tuned for that. Look, the number one trade idea today was Palantir. I have way too many trades on it, but we've been really making some money back here on this name as we just take out a 40 as well right there on Palantir. But we really liked it, man. I thought the long would be easy, but it was actually the opposite of that right now. Look at this Palantir chart today. Yikes. We went long early, and that was a good one. Then it fell in, and see that little tick there? We actually got ticked out. We were able to hold some of it all the way back up. So that put us close to being flat. And then this happened where we got stopped out of that last little wick there. So this, we got some out, but didn't get the whole piece out as we were thinking that it was going to bounce off of some of these levels in here, 25 bucks. All right, once that didn't happen, first of all, we're really hitting it now. We're over 30 cents in the money. Then it came back in. We hit this long. That was juicy. And then since we've been up here, now we just keep on going. Look at these long. Look at all these longs. So, I mean, needless to say, I said this before. Have confidence. I know Sharif and Adara say this on the midday show. It's pick your direction, have confidence, and go for it. I'm glad that Sharif talked about what I, and Patrick talked about. It's just, that's what it is. Sometimes you're going to lose. And, I lost there. When all this stuff was happening, because I was just using big shares. And I thought, okay, we're going to go back up. We're going to have a monster winner here, right? It's still going to be a very, very successful day, despite us on our first ideas losing on Palantir. We've gotten right back into it, and we've really hit this well. So it just goes back to the point. Stay with what you're doing. Stay with your strategies. And take trades you like. Like when the market just dipped there, Palantir came into the 200, so we bought it. We know we like Palantir strength. The damn thing is up 10% today. It's been a huge position, and really, I can't complain at all about what's been happening with Palantir here. So good trading today. Record high, not record high, high on the year, easily taken out. And now we wait to see if we get back to those meme levels of $40. I mean, you think SMCI went crazy on S&P 500 inclusion? this name will be included.
Yeah, they're eligible now.
Yeah, it should have been them. So we'll wait to see. Maybe SMCL will get included then out after it falls.
From what I
50%.
understand, well, I don't know if this is even true. Like I remember there was some comments about it, and I was like, oh, this has to do with the market cap and the size, blah blah blah. But I was like, well, Palantir's kind of the same. They were close to the same size at one point, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And once you're eligible, there's like either it's you have an idea of who's coming out, so like you can have a company coming out, and you need to put somebody in, right? So it could be that, or it could just be like quarterly and year-end rebalances. So those are the two things that will have to happen. I was trying to, why isn't my daily and weekly? Okay, my trade ideas is not loaded. I was gonna pull up a daily chart in the weekly so you could see, but it doesn't matter. We'll just leave it with the 52-week highs that got taken out there. There is a significant gap if it does take out highs, but I don't know if that's gonna apply today, only because the market is looking a little bit heavy. So what I will say is, I only liked two levels on Palantir, 25.5 and 25. So we went for dip buys off those, and my strategy is always to go with tight stops. That last pullback in, like this hammer to the downside, was probably reason not to have gone more than once off of the long. I'll end up flat on the stock. I don't know, like basically flat on the stock, because I think we took it one too many times on the long. And once it was down underneath the 25, really, this is the only entry that I can. The only thing I'll regret is not having this long in here. Regaining 25 and then a consolidation. That's about the only place you can get in. I don't know if we see VWAP today. But if this does pull back heavily, I'll go back to what I said this morning, and I was in this name, right before everything in the market tanked. If there's weakness in Palantir, I'd rather go to C3AI short. And I might stick with that. C3AI is up 5% because I'm assuming Palantir is up today. There's nothing specifically going on with C3AI. I was in that right before the market tanked, and now I'm only in Marvell and Google. But if I see rollover on Palantir, I'm going to try and grab a breakdown in C3AI this afternoon.
We're going to throw it back to Brendan, but just here, because we are sponsored by the Benzinga platform, here it is right here. It is now out. So Liberty Capital, Hudson Bay Capital, there's a few people involved here. Reverence Capital involved in this NYCB right there. But we are watching out for, we're going to talk about Tesla in a minute, but Tesla right now, forget about Palantir. This stock is $1. Apple's $1. We're starting to really move around here. Let's see what happens if Tesla can break and get back down to that 175 level. Tesla downside, not really any news, but they have that German fire, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem there for them as we break below. We wrote down here on Tesla that we were really looking at 177 long. So the fact that it's bouncing around here is starting to make me a little bit nervous. Maybe we'll just take the $1. Let's wait to see what happens here with Tesla. I want to be short a couple names. So we'll be short Tesla and Apple and long Palantir. Hey, short two of the weakest names in the Mag 7, if that even exists, and go long one of the biggest longs in the market. So I feel happy with these positions. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, JD.com, definitely not a short today. 25.5 ends up being the high up there this morning, still holding on to a nice gain. Coming off earnings for JD that were a nice beat right across the board.
Yeah, good beat. Estimates, they announced a stock buyback program to the tune of about $3 billion as well. Income grew about 10.1% year over year. Revenue grew about 3.6%. And he's basically, or the CEO that is basically looking to outperform in his industry. They're doing merchandise, they're doing electronics and home appliances. So we'll see how they do.
Bounced off the top end of the daily chart range, that 2450 area a couple of times during the midday, guys. But even this one's starting to curl back upside now.
You know, it's got a setup that's usually good for the afternoon. It's bouncing off VWAP. So I think that
making another move.
Yeah, that looks. I mean, the thing is, the market's making another move down. So if you're looking for strength, try to find it somewhere that the market that might not matter. And the Chinese ADR isn't the worst place to go. Like I just noticed it bouncing off VWAP and holding this 25. As we'll zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. So the market continues down and this holds VWAP. It actually looks like a decent long, but let's be real. This market is flashing to said downside. Where's my C3AI? Okay, I'm not going to get 33s. I'm going to try and get the next available pop. I think I should already be back into this short on C3AI. Maybe I like that JD off of VWAP, but if any, I might just be talking myself into that because it looks good on the setup.
Oh, man.
So, I don't know. It looks okay, but I like the shorts better here.
We got stopped at a Palantir, it broke lower, but wow, here we go. Let's go, man. Get the hot dog cannon out one more time as we sharpen up. The knives for the shorts. Boom, $1.50 on both Apple and Tesla, both $1.50 and going lower. So we're here, man. This is why you guys are here. Props it up. This is real trading. Go to realtrading.com and you too can hopefully I can make more winning trades like this one on this platform. So there it goes, man. Nice downside move. Now Tesla's $1.70 in the money. Apple's getting even juicier to the downside as well. Let's stay short, guys.
More comments coming through here from this release from NYCB. It looks like their board is also going to be reduced to 9 members. A few additional board members being added, and they're just listing off the ones that have been removed. So a few other executive changes as well, it looks like, being announced by NYCB. But the big news, $1 billion in an equity raise coming through for, there's also a shelf. So they've announced or requested an underwritten shelf offering to come through as well that'll take place on a block trade. So a few other things for NYCB. We'll see when that reopens, or maybe if this afternoon. Here's Bitcoin. This is a 15-minute chart. We get the early move overnight back higher. We've been kind of chopping around here most of the day, around 65.5 up to 67 and change for Bitcoin.
Yeah, what a fantastic move up for Bitcoin, Brendo. But the one that I've got my eye the most on is Ethereum, up 14%, almost 13.25%. We've been waiting to hear anything about spot ETFs for Ethereum, and it's been running up aggressively. So something makes me feel, that we may hear some news about that, but I don't know if that's going to be as forthcoming as quick. All the mining names as well. You got Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, and Hut, all in green territory.
Nice look, though, the guys still holding on to the top end here for some of these equities.
So just one thing, as the NASDAQ gets to 18,000, if Marvell holds VWAP in here, I'm getting out. Actually, as a matter of fact, nope, just get out. Wanted to jump right to it because you're wicking VWAP, which was support on Marvell, and the market just got to the 18,000 level, so I wanted to make sure I got out of that one. My plan for a VWAP retrace on a strong stock is double top, get out when it bounces off of VWAP because you're going counter trend there. When NVIDIA was breaking highs and the market was at that top, I saw resistance on Marvell that was confirmed, and then the curl. It rejected the top. I always love that setup. It then gave you a lower high when the market tried to bounce there. So in and out like a bandit. We'll get 40-somethings out, so it's about 70 pennies. But I want to point this out, not because hindsight is 2020, but because we can all learn something here. Obviously, NYCB, when it's halted, like the capital raise, probably going to be good for them. See, you can survive. KRE, pretty much, if you look at the actual ETF, if you just punched long when that news came out. Now, I was sitting there like, oh, KRE's not, NYCB's not going to open up. What are we going to do? You can't really do anything about that news. Yeah, you could have. You could just go over to the ETF and punch long. And the rest is sort of history. So, we always talk about when something's halted, are there warrants you could play off of? Is there a sympathy play? Sometimes you can just go over to the ETF. Enough of that. Crypto did not break all-time highs today. As a matter of fact, it didn't even break 68,000. Coinbase seemed to say, who cares? And Coinbase broke higher anyways. Coinbase is up 10%. And my plan was, if there was a failed breakout on Bitcoin, to short Coinbase wherever it was. Well, there was never a failed break of the high at 68,000 or even the 69,000. So I just didn't trade this thing. And up 10% is a bit of a surprise to me. But at least didn't have to, no, my trade didn't set up, so I didn't have to take it. Could happen this afternoon. If I see a false break, one of those wick highs that we saw yesterday at the all-time high, I'd look for a pullback in Coinbase, which is strong and up 10%. But a little bit, there it is. Look at the double top at 240. I suppose it could be a rally through, but if we fail a break on BTC, I know what I'd be doing with that 240 level, and it's not long.
All right, we bought a little bit more on Palantir there at 16s and just got some out at the 200 period at 24. Making some back here, but I still want to hold it for a little bit more, man. And I'm just I put a bid at Tesla at 176. If that fills, that fills. I just take a short now on Coinbase. Because kind of like, if the market's going to bleed down a little bit here, I feel like crypto should follow it. Should. I don't know. we'll take a small little look here on Coinbase. If it takes out this 240, then we'll have a much more serious look at it. So right now, very, very small position, bare minimum. We'll average in when it comes back up to the upside. We'll take something here around 239, and then we'll wait to see what happens at 240. Let's just dare the market to go back up. So sometimes that's a problem, especially these days, as the market only seems to want to go one way. As there it comes right back up. Look at AMD, look at NVIDIA starting to march again here on the way back up. NVIDIA just touched the 200 period again at 888. Now it's at 899, 893. Sorry, as we make our way up to the recent high, man, of 898. So I sold some. I said this on the midday show. I sold some NVIDIA today. Again, like just piecing out some sales. They've been wrong every single spot. So if you are interested in making some money, maybe go long now in NVIDIA because I've been selling. We'll wait to see what happens. Coinbase making a move back up. Palantir trying to go. So we're fine. We're just going to sit in Tesla. We have a plan for Tesla if it breaks 180 to get out. So that's it. So that's my plan for Coinbase. Watch out for 240.
So just one correction. The actual high yesterday was not exactly 240 on Coinbase. It was like 240.11. So I'm going to offer in front of it, but my stop won't be till yesterday's high. I don't want it, if it wicks by 1 cent today's high, remember, that's not through yesterday's top. It's a double top on Coinbase. Bouncing off VWAP, but bouncing off 18,000. Let's talk about these semis because the rocket ship that they have been is absolutely ridiculous. I just don't want to look at AMD in my personal account because I've been looking for excuses to sell it.
Yeah, it's been the NVIDIA show again today. NVIDIA, Intel, QCOM, AMD leading the way here, down here. All 3+% to the upside. Broadcom going into earnings, even having a good day. 1.3% positive territory. You can see all of the strength, or most of the strength anyways, coming from the tech side of things from that group once again. This is just one of many positive notes this morning on SMCI specifically. Remember going into the S&P 500 coming up next week, 1350 on a price target from this analyst.
Yeah, fantastic look, Brendo, for the chips today. I was going to mention SMCI, but thanks for covering that. Yeah, 900 incoming on NVIDIA. That'll be the key level that we're all looking at. AMD was also pumping up today, well over 200, guys. Yeah, and Intel, though, Brendo, continues to be a bit of a laggard. They're trailing below 45.
Just seeing this one popping up in front of me. I'll double check on this, but VLY just took out the highs here on pretty heavy volume.
Too late.
Okay, fine. I mean, look, the market's up 0.74%. I'm just going to say that I was short Intel today and lost on the short today. Actually, it started out as a good short. I actually made money at the open and then gave it back off of VWAP. But Intel's up over 3% today. So, I mean, to call it a laggard today, I mean, there's a phrase in our fantasy league, we call people out, factually incorrect. Factually incorrect to call this a laggard today. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah. But that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, to each their own. Like, it's the same percent up almost that NVIDIA is. So NVIDIA, rocket ship to the upside. It's all good, Sharif. Rocket ship to the upside. Oh, this wick here. What's the high? 897. I have to, like, zoom in. There's 897, so we haven't gotten to 900 just yet. Part of the reason I liked the Marvell short was as you're screaming into the top, NVIDIA was already pulling back. Like that, I love that. Like you already are getting a pullback and you can play off the high of the day. AMD has been an absolute rocket ship as well, but it'll back to Marvell. If it just bounced off VWAP as they've got 18,000, I might look for a reload here in front of 82.5. And keep in mind, these guys don't report till tomorrow night along with AVGO. We'll have to do the calendar for today's action. But sure. Tomorrow you get a couple of big chip names. You get Marvell, AVGO. Now, despite what I just said about Intel, it's underneath VWAP. And in the afternoon, if Intel's underneath VWAP and the market's been pulling back, I am thinking short here. This is a good level at 44.65 or so. Consolidation under, you had support turning into resistance. It was support over here. So I might look for an over-under, break VWAP, fail it, or just a quick fail under VWAP. I like Marvell shorts. I like Intel short. Wow, the market's coming back up. I might end up getting VWAP on Google as well. I just felt like that would just bleed the rest of the day. I guess not.
Yeah, I like Google there. Okay, so just real quick here. We're going to get out of Apple if it breaks 25. So that's the 50-period moving average. We've absolutely nailed this one again today. We hit it yesterday. We hit it again today. Apple just
big cap
leads down. We'll get out if it breaks. I just want to give everyone that idea. I'm not getting out. I do have Tesla down here at 176. I'll let Tesla come all the way back up and test 180. Not getting out of this one unless we get filled down there. So that's that talk there. AMD is the #1 name today on the show. So we'll put AMD in the gates of hell because it was a short bonanza for me on AMD. So no negative trades. As we went off the air at 11 o'clock, we were doing this damage. Going short at 211, some guys behind were talking about this. Some of them had this exact same trade. That's a big move. And there's the out, and then we're done. 208 from 211.50. So this is why this name is the #1 profitable name today on the show. AMD continues to print. No mistakes on this one. We'll leave it alone now as we wait to see what NVIDIA does. And you guys might have heard it on the midday. Sharif asked me about NVIDIA, and I said I didn't short it, but my call would have been short there. And I said this to Patrick because he gave me credit. He's like, great call. And I was just like, look, it's just a matter of if you think it's going to break 900, then you give yourselves $3. The move way down, if you're right, is going to be way more than $3. So it's just, you had to put the trade on. I don't have it, so I don't want everyone saying like that was a great call or not. But I was just saying, explaining it from a risk to reward. If you like the short, you get out at 900, give yourselves $1.50 slippage. So you need $4 on it, and it paid 9. So it was an okay trade, but again, a lot of gumption required for that one. NYCB is still halted. So they're going to
still T1.
They're going to sell stocks. I don't think they'll open up, but they're going to sell shares at $2 a share, they just said. So we'll wait to see if and when they have no demand for that, where that will wind up going. So NYCB right now, no tap. If you come over to the screen, this is what a halted stock looks like if you're trading with real trading. So halted right now, down half, and we'll see what happens.
Jamie Dimon's good for it.
Yeah, exactly. So
some money just fell out of his pocket.
It'll get bought out.
Well, not his pocket, but you know what I mean.
No, that's why Mnuchin will be involved because he knows what's good. I mean, look at JP Morgan. Oh, we got to go back there. Look at JP Morgan stock all-time high. They bailed out First Republic, all that kind of stuff. So,
I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I mean they could if they want.
Yeah, they could do it. They could do it. Look at these wicks. Yikes. Okay, why is PBM squeezing? We'll figure that out, Jose Mercado, after we get back from the desk.
A rundown brought to you once again by Collective Mining today, drilling high-grade targets in Colombia with results including 519 meters at 2.74 grams per ton gold equivalent. It's been a short kind of a week on the midday.
Oh, yeah.
What's coming up tomorrow?
Mean reversion, guys. Tomorrow we talk about short selling as a mean reversion strategy. Shout out to the Obi, the one, the Kenobi. He loves this kind of trade. If you like this, join Adara and I tomorrow at 11 o'clock on How to Trade.
So I feel like mean reversion trades are something that day traders do a lot of. So we have VWAP on our charts a lot of times. So if you take a mean reversion, when it's at a high, you're looking for a move back into VWAP a lot of times, and I love that setup. As a matter of fact, that's just what happened on Marvell. Just there. Here comes coin. It's getting there. Remember, yesterday's high is above 240, so I'll give it a few cents above 240. I'm not in it yet. It's only at 238.5. What else did I want to get to? There's something else. Oh, yeah, on that news, this is what I want to point out, too, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
So again, with the news on NYCB, KRE just made another vault to the upside through 50. Basically, if you just punch long when good news happens, you're looking good. Because whether you open up on NYCB, there is something to do on KRE. So I went for the stair-step short. I'm keeping an eye on Palantir. I do not want that ripping faces off. But the last lower high was 33 on AI. It just pulled into the 90s, and I got short again on them. So watch out for for me. If Palantir breaks back toward the high, I might just punch out, but my stop is at 33 even. Looking for this to continue down through VWAP. I was sitting in this and got stopped out through the high of the day right before the market tanked and missed a chance to get back in. When the market really accelerated, I just got out of that trade. So short off a lower high, but that KRE move is now wild. 50-30 and still going. Still going.
Oh, man. I guess it's Bitcoin Did it go past 69,000? No, not today.
No.
Okay, as we watch out for that. Palantir starting to go back up to the upside. We are probably going to get stopped out of our Apple soon. We've sort of talked about that. We're in Coinbase, so we're going to have to wait to see what happens there. And then what's up, Jose Mercado? You wanted PBM? Science Biomed. So I was...
Look at the spread.
Yeah, it's really slowed down a little bit here, but we just did get a nice little bump up. So Sci Biomed, the only thing I was looking at here was you click on this, you click on that, and then we get a little story here from Google. So something about Human Research Ethics Committee approval.
Oh, approval.
So phase 2B study. So there it goes. These are kind of this is from, again, this is Trade Ideas, so you guys can go find out more about Trade Ideas. But anyways, a nice move up, and you can see really baseline down there at 50 cents. I mean, to answer your question, when does it going to go? I mean, it's up 35%. If it doesn't want to go here, I don't know. I feel like people just tried to get that push. Maybe that was you, Jose, right here. But either way, it topped out at 135. This is not I mean, you could see the damage that we're doing right here. And why the hell not? We're who we are right now. So let's face slap it up on Coinbase. Now we're in the money another $1 on Coinbase right there, as what we're doing is stacking right now. But that PBM, good luck getting that thing moving. Phase 2 normally will go. There's another one for everybody there on Coinbase.
Yeah, if a dollar stock has a spread of 3 cents, that is usually telling you a little bit of something about the interest there. There should be way more volume, and therefore you should have a tighter spread on it, but I'm not touching that. I just got to reload an Alphabet off of VWAP. I'll clean that chart up when I get a chance. VWAP is 131.80 in here, just a little skosh higher than that. So I just reloaded it. We got into Intel. We just got into C3AI as the market's trying to round off. What else we got going on? Yeah, patience is definitely key, Monty G. I mean, VWAP has been good in both directions. I did not get Marvell just now as, yeah, it didn't quite get up to the prices I wanted. It was a couple of cents away from when we got the reloaded 82 quarters. You can already see it pulling back, but that's okay. We got a couple of other names in there. You've got to, look, it either gives you the setup or it doesn't. VWAP here in Intel, this bad wick I can get rid of, but as this breaks 44.50, we'll get some out on the way down. Google as well starting to break in lower. As the market just feels like it wants to do this. That said, I mean, technically speaking, the NASDAQ is still green, but you know, it's when you momentum trade, it's what is the market doing, not what does the number on top of your chart say.
All right.
I gotta get rid of this.
We're at our day's high here today. Couple good trades here in the afternoon. We shorted Coinbase. It's now $1 change. Tesla's trying to bounce back up. I mean, do we just cover now? This market's really starting to bug me a little bit. Like back and forth and just keeps on hitting these bottoms, giving me like feels about covering, you know. And then it rips up and makes you feel like you don't want to average in, and then it just comes right back down again. Coming into 18,000. That's what I'm trying to play for. I mean, you guys can clearly see that. I'm holding three. So I have 3 positions on right now, all to the short side, all are $1. And then Palantir right here continues to be whatever. Like I'm just trying to play it off 26 bucks.
You're short Palantir?
No, I'm long. Yeah, it's because I had a.
Oh, I know why.
Yeah,
Never mind.
So down in there, I was long. I mean, I'm long right here. Like.
No, I've said this before. So if you have take profits at real trading, like every single short sell technically to the market is supposed to be quoted as a short sell when you send that sell order. So if you're long a position and you put an offer out there, that code that as a sell, and then orders after that, once they would theoretically cover your long, those are quoted short sell. So if you punch out of a position or take some out when you already have your offers out there, it'll show up as a purple on our chart, which are shorts. But Sean is not short. I am short AI. We just took that one. That's back into VWAP. We got 32 out in front. Well, we got 32.85 in front of the 33 level. Once it goes 1-to-1, that's 15 pennies. If it breaks down, we get another leg down. So that is also working into said downside as the market flush to the downside. I'm going to put some targets in here on Intel. 44.20. See this consolidation here? That's the next move down.
All right, flush is right, because now we can adjust our Apple stop. And this is part of the thing. When you keep on putting on trades that do this, you can adjust your targets for your outs, if you have any targets for your outs. I'm going to have it at the 50 period. So we tried to break there. We didn't. We'll try it again. So that's 15s. So watch this, 169.16. That's it. I don't know if we're making it seem easy or hard to do this, but it's definitely, trading is it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So, you know, when you get the direction right, though, the trades will come in. It's just, this is not an easy game, man. And we always talk about that. I use tons of examples of traders behind us coming and going and all that, but we're not going to talk that. It's just, you know, be very, very patient with your ins and your outs and make sure that you follow your rules, because that's going to be the #1 thing. And I just talk like that because I saw Bob W. in there saying that sort of I was echoing your exact feelings on this market. And that's the thing. We're sitting here trading with you, right? It's going to be a trophy day. That's fine. But at the same time, you don't need to put on more trades now if you don't see anything. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is a lost day, I'm only up nothing. Or, you know, we heard Sharif say, oh, just got green or whatever. That's what it's about, right? It's about like, just if you see the trade, make the trade. If you don't see the trade, don't make the trade. It's again, I know that sounds so stupid, but like that's sort of what you have to do. So in that vein, I'm not seeing Tesla go down too much anymore, man. Like I'm bidding here 176.05, hoping that we can get a downside move. But at the same time, I'm staring right at this VWAP and saying like, I don't want this to get carried away. So I'm probably just gonna get this out if we take 177, you know, 50s. So I'm starting now to put out some orders to capture a little bit of profit on these positions because again, we'll be here for them to tank. They've already tanked, you know, but again, if you don't take it out, then it doesn't really matter. This is part of me holding smaller amounts of shares for bigger moves. So we'll wait. Coinbase coming back up. We already took some profit there. We'll wait for Tesla to do a dance and we'll wait for Apple. We may have nothing into the close or we may have a lot, but we're going to have to wait to see. It looks like
the market decides.
Yeah, like Beige Book didn't do anything there.
See, actually, no, we didn't say this while we were on air. We were talking amongst ourselves. Beige Book is not usually a gigantic market-moving event, so I wasn't expecting much. Like I said, there was a delayed reaction to something when the market tanked. It could have just been everything was technical. It's entirely possible, like that last breakout in NVIDIA happened close to 900, and then a bunch of other things were at some tops, and then we just fell because of that. Like you could have just had too many things at the highs, and when they started failing the highs, everything fell. But you know, one of the things that you've got to keep in mind is don't overtrade, stick to your plan, all that good stuff. Try to have a trade plan before you get in. Like if you can't articulate why you want to be in, or at least where you're getting in and where you're getting out, then you'll find yourself in trouble. And especially in the afternoon. Like in the morning, you get away with some stuff because like things just fly. You get in and it just flies in the money for you, or you know immediately you're wrong because it moves so much. Things are way more subtle in the afternoon. It's so easy in the afternoon in subtle moves, be like, oh, I just take a little bit more. It's not really going that far. All that stuff, which that'll get you into a lot of trouble. I cannot believe KRE here. It is, whoops. There we go, it's Amex. It's still holding these highs. I thought maybe there'd be some play for a dip in KRE. I'm not buying these tops. Almost can't do it. But yeah, the ETF has been the strongest thing that I've looked at since we sat down at 2 o'clock. I mean, if there's something else, you let me know. Like my high of the day Momo scanner isn't exactly popping off on trade ideas. Yeah, it's really just KRE that's strong. Everything else, I'm just seeing shorting opportunities on some pops there. If we get reloads, I want to keep it to the levels that we like. So you know, I'm waiting around for 131.80 again, or somewhere in here on Alphabet. That continues to work down to the bottom. 131's been a hard bottom on this, so you want to take profit. I want to take profit out in front of it, and I'm keeping a close eye on C3AI because that's technically above VWAP. And I feel as if this one, like if one of these things is not like the other, Intel, Google, and C3AI, it's obviously C3AI. It's up 5%, but it's stair step down. I don't want to give it past this 32.90. Actually, you know what? I'm going to tighten my stop here. This is a relatively strong stock.
So I just tweeted this out here, thanks to Adara for this. Another very successful IPO. Only down 85%. So shout out to Whitney Wolf right here. And I just tweeted that basically here, it was on my profile. Go find it if you want. I was like, another IPO, another bites of dust. Let me guess, someone got paid with a little blonde, a little emoji here. So I wonder where she got out. So if you put in your 10 grand believing in the company that they parade around Wall Street and tell everybody why they're great, Your $10,000 is now worth $1,500. So there it goes. Bumble, probably a very successful IPO compared to some of its counterparts in the space. But there goes Bumble again. I'm not invested in this. I'm just saying, made me sick, all those IPOs that came in 2021 and so on and so forth. But there it goes, a huge move to the downside again for Bumble. So anyways, go over find me for some interesting things like that. We'll talk about that all today on the market recap show of Chris Breter coming through one more time. That guy was hilarious last week talking about his adventures in Las Vegas. So that was really fun. And if you guys remember that, then you'll remember how fun that was. Okay, so that's it.
Better than AMC, someone just, sorry, that's better than AMC numbers at this point.
Yes, but AMC IPO.
Diet soda.
Yeah,
I mean,
years and years ago. But
you can always cherry pick. Let's put it that way.
yeah, but with IPOs, it's really pathetic, all that. But yeah, you can look, cherry picking with AMC is what it is.
The only IPO that comes to mind, well, obviously ARM. Actually, well, yeah, clearly ARM. I mean, ARM's the one that, in the last few years, it has been an actual.
Yeah, there's almost no other ones.
I was trying to think. There was something else that was okay, but that didn't suck. But no, ARM's the big one. I feel as like Instacart has been at least not terrible. But if that's the best that you can say about something, let me look it up because I could be wrong about that. I feel like it's flat, Instacart.
Well, Instacart's had a huge move up, yeah.
Well, I think the thing with Instacart is that this at least like Instacart's up now, but it's flat because the market has been so strong. But if you look at this if you look at Instacart relative to what the market's been doing, you'd be saying, oh, that's not that impressive at all because it's right back to where it was when it opened up. But this is something that went sideways. If the market dies, or if like maybe when the IPO lockup for ARM happens, and if the market does pull back a bit,
NYCB is open, $5.
$5?
NYCB is open at 418 right now, and it's going to halt
down
to the up. Well, yeah, it's going to halt because of where it opens, but here it goes, man. People are buying this thing up, $4 right there. NYCB just spiked up to $4 right there. So yeah,
instant down.
If you were stuck in the halt right there, then that's why.
What's
$4 instant up halt?
I got, like, let's be real. I didn't know it was a news halt when it was to the downside, and I was looking for a bounce in this stock. I was like, the second it goes into an up halt, I'm just going to bid it and try and get long on the halt price. But I actually thought it was just a volatility halt when I was doing that. It would have been the biggest fluke win ever. So it opened. Are you sure it's an up halt? Because I see 440.
Well, I mean, just it went from 186. Oh yeah, it could have.
It's a down halt.
Yeah, it could have opened at 440. I don't know, but either way, I mean, it closes at 186, rips up to 4 and change. We don't even have the candle here, and then what? It might have opened at 440. Yeah, probably.
I have 440.
I just immediately opened up. Yeah, I have the high of 440.
Okay, there you go.
So that's before even. You know, this stock is going to get. If you're able to get short there,
you have to be so fast.
Good on you, man. I don't even pay for shorts, so.
What? Oh yeah. What? I thought they might have been free. Never mind.
You didn't check?
No, I had a short.
Oh, okay. Then they're probably free if you had it.
But because I don't think I paid for it. I'd have to double check. I did have a short once today on it. That's why I thought they were free. But it's possible that I paid and just don't remember that I paid for locates. But we'll let you know in 5 minutes what's going on. Intel's right back at our entry price. So if we're able to get a reload, we'll go ahead and do that in front of VWAP here. Hey, the wick came back at the very next second.
Yep. You thought it was a goner, but the wick came back.
I did think it was a goner, actually. That's this little wick on Intel. Intel did not trade at $42.40 when the market was tanking.
All right, NYCB is wild. Yeah, good call on that one, guys. All right, you know what else is wild? Let's go, man. We're still here for this. Let's prop it up. Who's with me on Palantir? I mean, here we go. I'm just going to take a piece out. So there it is, man. Nice little W there on PLTR. So we'll face slap on that one. Again, Palantir making that cash on those dip buys. I mean, it's just been one of those crazy stocks early. Now, yeah, NYCB, basically New York Community Bank, now up 30% on the day. It's just so wild that, like, you basically go down 50%. Remember, we were down 48% there. Now you're going to be up 30%. And the halt, which is going to open up in 5 or 10 minutes here. I guess it was a 5-minute halt if it was, or 10-minute halt, I guess.
It could be
on volatility. So we'll wait till this thing opens up. The tap has not been working. So right now, 418 it's showing, but that was the last closing price. So we're gonna have to wait on the tap there for.
Well, we haven't like I was watching it when it was halting on the way down. We weren't getting tap information for the open on the way down there. So I'm not sure we're going to get anything on that one. Now we're rolling back in. That's why we just got a reload on VWAP, and we'll roll back into said downside. I might not have gotten the Google reload, but we definitely got some reloads on the short trades there. That's what it's all about. Like, just find your short, grab it, hit it and quit it. Joe Schmo, you got Marvell to VWAP. Congratulations. We love that Marvell short as well.
I mean, you want to talk about hitting it and quitting it. Look at this move on Coinbase. We just got $1 right there on Coinbase, like it was candy right there. We just reshorted that trade. I mean, all of a sudden now Coinbase is going to go number 2, number 3 maybe for top stocks. And we just started trading this in the last half hour. So here we go, man. It's a big trade here. It is Coinbase starting to go to the downside. We're singing now, guys, as this market continues to make moves lower as we speak. But we do have our guest of the day with an interview, and it's Brendan at the desk. Wow, Coinbase, what the f-
On the healthcare industry and drug-specific industry, it's been a very busy Q1 so far this year on the M&A side of things in this industry. We're happy to have President and CEO Don McCaffrey of RiverLogics joining us this afternoon to give us a little more insight. Good to see you, Don. Welcome, first of all. How's your afternoon?
Doing well, Brendan. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Fantastic. It's, as I said, it's been a very busy Q1 here when it comes to M&A activity in this space. Why don't we start just with a bit of an overview of what has happened to this point, and maybe give us a little bit of insight into how this compares to a normal maybe year, and what you think as far as market effect is going to be with these deals.
Well, as it compares to a normal year, this is fairly average. Because, well, and great thanks to the JP Morgan conference, which is always held in San Francisco the first or second week of January. So a lot of activity is centered around that. Since the beginning of the year, there's already been major deal announcements like AstraZeneca with a $1.2 billion with Gracell. Bristol Myers Squibb's done a $14 billion deal. And Roche has done a deal with Lumidex. There's several other smaller deals. The comparison to how it's starting out to last year was a unique year. It actually finished up 2% over the previous year, but most of that was centered in 3 or 4 major deals, like Seagen being acquired by Pfizer for $43 billion. There was a couple of real whoppers in there that distorted it. So number of deals was way down. Total volume was up. So it looks like we're on course for a pretty good year here.
Okay, so when it comes to what is to come at this point, what is still maybe in your mind in the works? And of those, which ones are maybe looking like they're going to go through more than others?
Well, there's a lot in the works. If you look at Ernst & Young's report on available acquisition cash in the pharma industry, it's sitting at $1.37 trillion. So you have kind of 2 issues here. One, it's an industry that's prone to overheating. And 2, there's a suppressed sector. The small biotechs have had a very tough time with financing, et cetera, in the last while. So there's going to be a lot of activity, and the prices seem to be going way up. The overall industry is off about 90%. It very much reminds me of oil and gas 2-3 years ago, when it traded below zero, false market. Same with this one. Even major companies are down quite a bit, like 23andMe. They did their IPO and their work on that at a $3 billion valuation. It's now down to 300 million. And that's a company with very solid management and very solid backing. So it's interesting to see. But we do see some excitement coming up here. Novo Nordisk introduced an acquisition of Catalent. Catalent's a manufacturer of drug, and Novo Nordisk did that because they're having great success with their obesity drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy. They're actually the same drug, just different doses. However, they can't supply the market. So they put out $16.5 billion in acquisition of this manufacturer. And it has been anything but smooth. They don't anticipate closing before the end of the year. And what Novo's done, they've offered a $63.50 price. And Catalent is currently trading at $56.96. So it's down quite a bit. Some of that is due to the day after the acquisition announcement, the FDA announced problems with one of the major plants that was being acquired, including pests on the floor. Not a good thing. So that didn't help. But also sales at Catalent are off 10% year over year now. And there's a few other issues that are problematic. So obviously the trading community looks into this and has questions. One of my questions that has not arisen yet is FTC filings. Now, FTC has been more active in the Biden administration than in the last 30 years. They've reviewed a couple of major deals like AstraZeneca's multi-billion-dollar deal and Pfizer's acquisition for $43 billion of Seagen. Both got approved, but the Seagen deal actually raises the question now that it was approved. Just this week, Pfizer's canceled the manufacturing side of Seagen. They were expanding quite a bit. So all that manufacturing will now have to go back into the market. And the pharma manufacturing market is already tightly squeezed. So this is why Novo was buying Catalent in the first place. Now the market's going to even be tighter. So I think Novo is going to get quite a review from the FTC regarding manufacturing and what they're going to be doing in that, how much is going to be shut down to the general business community.
Don, if we look ahead here and forecast out maybe what is on the minds of traders, of investors, as you were saying, when it comes to these deals, is there a specific area in the healthcare group, whether it be cancer focused or therapeutics focused? You mentioned the GLP-1 idea right across the board, very, 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 very popular at this point. Is there a specific area in the healthcare group that we're seeing more M&A activity this year?
Yeah, it's in the metabolics. So that includes the GLP-1, cardiovascular, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, those issues. And if you look at a company called Viking Therapeutics, they're up an enormous amount. They were at $8.28 as their low this year. They're currently around $94. Just did a financing at 85. Now this is a very early phase company. I mean, this is phase 2. That's a long way to go to market to have that kind of a pop. So this really is speculation on acquisition. Our industry suffers from FOMO all the time, fear of missing out. And now that the major players like Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are in deep into this GLP-1 obesity space, others want in. So Viking is a probable takeout target. They have good management, good drug. It does have a ways to go though, so it's going to be a heck of a premium paid for the stage they're at. But we see this all the time. You mentioned oncology. Another one in oncology that's taking quite a ride upwards is Tempest. It's an oncology drug dealing in carcinomas. Again, they're entering phase 3, so they're a little further along. But this thing's ridden from 17 cents to a high of 9.77. It's cooled off a bit. It's down around 3.60 now, but that is still a 2,000% increase. So this is the type of thing you see in a suppressed industry. It's been 2 years since the biotechs in general are off more than 90%. And now those that survived and are proving their science out, there's some real strong upside in this sector.
From our standpoint on this side of the border, it seems, there's a lot of Canadian companies that are in this space and are quite well recognized in this space. But there's a discount, it seems, across the board for Canadian companies. 2 questions, really. Why do you think that is? And part 2, is there something that can change in your mind as far as the industry is concerned to improve that?
Yes, but I'm going to avoid the political answer here because that's too easy. The problems really revolve around over-regulatory, and it comes down to simple stuff. It sounds simple, but it's not simple. When you're trying to do a financing deal in Canada, you have a T+3 closing, and in the United States, you have T+1. Now, many deals I've seen, including ones I was working on, sidelined because they won't accept a T+3. Well, we have no choice up here. The problem is it leaves open a huge shorting window, which, that's where people make money and they're going to do it. If you telegraph like that all the time, I mean, that's a no-brainer. So it makes financing very difficult here in Canada, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. We have too much regulation. In the States, my colleagues complain about, on one regulator, SEC. We have 10, so it's problematic. We could use some tax advantages like mining and oil and gas get that we currently do not get in biotech. So it does make a difference. I read something interesting this week that post the, hence the stop of the increase of the interest rates, the general markets in the US, I believe it was referring to tech, was up 23%, and Canada's only up 8%. So it's where the money goes and where the investors go. They go to where the best returns are.
In your mind, are we seeing an uptick here simply because, not only the Fed, but our Bank of Canada here has said, it's going to be a matter of time before interest rates start coming down again?
Yeah, I think we will see an uptick here in biotech in general. The unfortunate thing is most companies like ours, which is Resverlogics in cardiovascular research, it's a world leader. It's got FDA breakthrough therapy designation, and it still struggles for stock pricing here. We'll do very well because we're going to do some non-equity moves on putting some money in the bank, just utilizing assets. But it's tough. It's tough to do. We normally end up being owned by foreign entities going forward and move out of Canada for the obvious reasons. And it's unfortunate, but it's true.
There's a lot. I mean, we sit here every day, Don, and talk about these therapeutic type stocks and healthcare type of stocks as we've been discussing. There's a lot of activity over the past even couple of weeks here, it seems. So more to come, I'm sure. President and CEO of Resverlogics, Don McCaffrey. Great insight. We appreciate the time this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Brennan.
Thank you very much there, Don. And look, let's be real. A lot of people have been talking about that Viking Therapeutics because it's been an absolute rocket ship, and obviously, like you said, a highly speculative stock. But another 5% today on Viking. By the way, Pfizer is also making a little bit of a rally off of its pandemic bottoms. But from a trading standpoint, we've seen what's happened with this thing. And if you don't line up and look at the $100 level on Viking Therapeutics, like it's, what's the word I want to use here? Squeeze-ish? No, that's not even a thing. It gets squeezy if it breaks this 100 level. One of those is probably close enough to something reasonable to say. Right. But multiple halts down. NYCB is open again.
Yeah, we're 10% in the money right now. We'll face slap a little bit right here. We are short at 335. We just took out a third of what we had on that open. It just stopped basically at 3,305 right now. So like I said, you never know where your bread's going to be buttered. And right now, NYCB wants to go down, and here we go again. So like I said, no matter what style you're trading, welcome to the jungle, man. There it is. We're trading everything right here. So that was 320. So 335, I just put a limit on open bid when we opened up off the halt to make sure that we got some kind of liquidity out there. And here it comes right back down in. Boom, there's another 10% winner right now. What up to Max? There's a little Lambo action coming through right there again. So far so good here as we continue to cruise with NYCB. We're $1 in the money on Coinbase, ho-hum. We did get out of our Tesla, unfortunately. It did break 177.50. That was a good out for us. Apple was not as good of an out as that took the level that we were talking about, so we do get out of that. But right now, man, we're just going to sit down and relax as NYCB tries to find, I don't know, footing, maybe at $3.
The $3 level is where it broke down originally. I know because when the news hit, it popped down to 297. I shorted 307, and that's more or less where it's bouncing as we speak. So we'll see. If it can't hold 3, I don't even know where the bottom is going to be on that bad boy. But just one quick update. The market's about to get to 18,000 on the NASDAQ. If we break 18,000, hold on to your shorts. If taking profit on Google, I'm holding. Taking profit on Intel, and I'm holding. So this does look like the 18,000 is going to come into play one more time here. It was a big level this morning. The market managed to bounce off it and rally. If we don't hold this, I don't know if we can get red on the day, but obviously the NASDAQ's not going red without breaking 18,000. That stands in its way, and it has it's been a wall. It's one that I tend to think we can break. 5,100 on the 5,100 on the ES as well to the downside. So hold on to your butts, hold on to your shorts.
Yeah, or sell your longs.
Well,
we've been raising
that's too.
Yeah, we've been raising some capital. I just bid 308, and no word of a lie. Oh, sorry, I'll go to NYCB. No word of a lie. It stopped at 309. So we're gonna have to wait to see what happens now with NYCB. It's starting to go back up to the upside, so we're gonna have to watch out right now. I might just take a piece out here. It's really starting to move around. This is gonna halt one way or the other right now on NYCB. So we're still bidding down there near $3. Hopefully we can get a whoosh down in, get out of another third of this, and then wait to see what happens. But look at this thing dancing around right now. I just don't really want to be involved in another halt if I don't have to be. But we will. We're not playing with huge amount of shares here. Still been a good day so far. Coinbase, $1.30 in the money now, Coinbase. Couple good shorts. Let's go over to Brendan.
Brought to you by our friends over at IG.com. Once again, got opinions on central bankers, geopolitics, and economic data. Apply your macro views with a Forex account at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rates and offer 0 commission. Trading using a Forex account at IG for a limited time. Traders can get open fund and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonus. Terms and conditions apply.
So KRE is at support now as NYCB is doing this like crazy whatever dance. Oh, Intel 44. If we don't break 18,000, I'm getting out of that in front of 44. It's at 44.14 already. That could be a quick 1% move down. We trash talked it, and I guess it decided it wanted to go. But if NYCB holds $3, this should be a long at 49.5. And I feel like it's a little bit. Safer is not necessarily the right word, but it kind of is the right word. Like the ETF is not gonna halt to the downside if you trade it. Like if I set a stop and you go long on the ETF, you're fine. You go long on NYCB and it breaks the bottom, you might miss it and it goes into a halt. That's not happening with KRE. So if I was going long something, it would be KRE and not NYCB. Just getting that out of the way.
It's 3 o'clock. We're entering power hour, so that's gonna be pretty good. GoDaddy, yeah, I saw some news about that GDDY right now. GoDaddy, what the? GoDaddy's $100? Okay. Nice move. Wow, GoDaddy. All right. $70 up to one. Look at this. Are they reporting anytime soon? Because this chart is yeah. Dara's saying she's going to check, but I have it right here. Yeah, 13th of Feb. So we are well off for these dudes. But wow, GoDaddy, nice move back up to the upside.
That's not good.
We'll find out if there's any news here or not. Shares sold by Bank of Nova Scotia. No, that's not. That's old news right there. Okay, so we'll wait to see. Well, that's not old news. That was today, but I don't know what that means. So we'll wait to see here. GoDaddy, nice move to the upside right here. I don't know if there's news. It just says GoDaddy resume trade. We can check here. Will Brendo has it.
Investor Day going on, it looks like, guys. So they're outlining some profitability plans, and looks like more funding. Sorry, 1.4 billion remaining under current share authorization as well for GoDaddy. So Investor Day on right now.
GoDaddy.
Yeah, GoDaddy.
KRE, come on. I want to get this in the 60s. I'm talking about KRE. That is. So I'm on the bid right now, but I want to make sure I got my stop order in. I just realized one of my alt keys isn't working. And so I just use the other one to set my stop. I never want stops or market keys to be not a combination of things. So I don't want to accidentally hit it.
Oh no, we're going to halt up.
KRE, oh, it's going to halt up?
I don't know. Do I want to get out of something here?
Okay, I'll get in a little bit of KRE. if that's halting to the upside. And move my stop.
Halted.
I'm not going to stop this underneath the local support. I'm going to stop this underneath 49.5 on KRE. That's the regional bank ETF, everybody. That's the reason I want to trade that one. If NYCB is going to halt, I feel like this is a safer trade. Looking out for some other names out there. Snapchat's moving. That doesn't really matter that much to me. I think the bigger name today. Actually, I shouldn't say that.
What's up?
Like, remember when the news came, the TikTok news? Like, Snapchat gave it up.
TikTok.
And if you look at the daily chart on Snapchat, like, this probably should be a thing at about $11.80. Like, if you look at the two since earnings, lower high, and look at where it rejected underneath the 200 period moving average, and then it did this double top. Remember the TikTok news? It was like 11.65. So I was about to write it off and say there's nothing to see there, but there is. And that was probably a really easy failed opportunity this morning to notice the double top wick on Snapchat. So maybe there isn't a trade this afternoon, but you know what? I just saw it in the chat, and I should be paying attention to it. So the only new position was just getting into KRE, which I keep putting NY. I'm not used to trading things that are on AM. So I type in NASDAQ or NY. But I'm out if this thing breaks 49.5, or if NYCB opens up halted down or something, I'm just going to punch out.
I think it's going to go the other way. I think that was an up halt.
It was an up halt, but like, no, but if it opens up,
yeah.
and it opens up tanking, I'll just punch out of a KRE wherever it happens to be. Rhyme not intended.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up a nice rhyme, regardless of intent or not. That was a good one. All right, so I just wanted to say here that we are in a little bit, I wouldn't say trouble is the wrong word, but Palantir, I think we can rip. We're long Palantir, so we're not in trouble, but I was debating this move, and I'll tell it to you in a second. What about a break of 26.40, right where we got out right there? Do we think Palantir can make it go? That's going to be a thing. So we'll wait to see if Palantir has enough juice in it to do that. We'll wait and see. So Palantir breaking through 26.40, I will take it. So if there is a trade there, I will be there to take it. So just letting you guys know that will be a trade of mine, Palantir through that level, if and when that does happen. So that's what we're waiting for there on PLTR, breaking above 26.40 if that happens. So I don't know if it's going to, but that's a trade that we are looking at. I feel like we should have maybe held on to that Tesla, not held on to it. It's at the 200 period. Maybe we should be reshorting it in and around here. But I'm also thinking that this market could be going. That's why I wanted to go for the long there on Palantir. So let's just be patient with it. Coinbase, I hate to say stuff like let's be patient with stuff when it's clearly going the other way.
Patience is a virtue.
It is, and it's not one that I possess very well. All right, we'll just
Anybody that's a parent has patience, whether they believe it or not.
Yeah,
I
have patience, but it's not very much of it. All right, so I want to wait for Coinbase, so we'll do that. 236.50. Okay, we'll wait there for Coinbase and see if we can make that sing to the downside. NYCB, this is my nervous Nancy one because we have to wait for that. And for everybody out there that honestly, whatever anybody wants to think, oh my God, Nancy Pelosi bought calls. Look at PanW go. Well, I mean, now's your chance to get right back in if you want. It's not like when do those calls even expire?
To my understanding, I thought she bought calls before earnings even happened, and then people were just talking about it because of the earnings move, and then she added to it after. But she was already in this thing before the move down, and then she basically averaged in on the earnings dip. Some people were waiting for PanW to get to 260. I think she was long above 300. Well, she had calls above the 300 level. She bought them when it was higher up there and then bought the dip back down in. She's not going to be right every single time. I mean, at the end of the day, insider information, at the end of the day, getting a heads up isn't always going to give you the right entry. I still like PanW. I got no issues with that. There is, like I said, there's no indicated tap on that NYCB, but it should be open in about 1 minute, and KRE under a little bit of pressure. However, this portion of the show is brought to you by Collective Mining, and I get to do a 420 reference. Hey, they're drilling high-grade targets in Colombia, results including 519 meters at 274 grams per ton equivalent. And this is CNL on the Toronto Exchange here. It also trades in the OTC markets. Shout out to what I love about a chart like this. I love talking technicals. I love consolidations. A lot of times you'll look at things like this and say, okay, do you have a strong base? Like, what is happening with the stock? And you're not really getting anything interesting. But hey, bit of a channel break. It's coming back into that 420. Actually, this morning when Sean, you were talking about this, we said if this holds on to a 420 level because support turning into resistance, that's actually what you're seeing. Check them out. That is Collective Mining. NYCB's open. And, okay. I mean, I feel like that's anticlimactic. Yeah, whatever.
Climactic?
Climactic.
Yeah. Anticlimactic.
Climactic.
Climact.
I gotta enunciate better, Neil. I
Yes,
talk to myself
you
sometimes.
do.
But KRE is out 19 cents for me while this thing is flying higher. Okay, this is, it's flying to the upside. Like, give me a
I'm
break.
gonna try more short here.
How am I not? I did it again. I didn't type it's Amex stock. Yeah, like this is barely moving. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, out of an abundance of nonsense that's nonsense, is take a little bit out of KRE, because why the heck is that not going up? That doesn't even make any sense. No, take a bit out. No. Actually, I said this in the lesson today. If what you're doing doesn't make sense to you, you don't have to be in the trade. Instead of I was about to try to rationalize what the heck is going on, KRE, you just saw NYCB open after an up halt and go higher, and this thing after I punched long, it didn't get to my stop, but I can just get out of it for a little bit less of a hit than I was anticipating having to stop.
Just went there.
That doesn't make any sense, so I don't have to be in the trade. I mean, NYCB, since opening back up, just got to 350, and this couldn't even break any higher. So I think that's a disappointment, so I'm not going to be in the trade. Dump that. I'm not going to force it. I'd rather just be like, okay, the thesis wasn't right, that NYCB halts up and goes. If it goes higher, I should be able to win taking KRE during the halt. That thesis was wrong. I don't need to hold on to the trade and just watch it continue to be wrong, as it's not making a lot of sense to me right now. So I'm going to get that level 2 away, go back over to what could be a reload after an 18,000 bounce on Intel. You know what? The market already bounced off 18,000. I was waiting at 7s. It bounced off of 10s. I am going to move that into the teens here. Move into 44.15 and try and get out that way. Managing the Alphabet trade, there has not been a reload since we got it at VWAP. VWAP retraces are fun, especially if you have it with the trend. It is now holding a higher low, or a lower high at 131.50 as the market tries to bounce higher.
All right, NYCB, we're almost going to be out of this one. There it is. So someone just asked, why did we okay, now it's going to halt, so that was a good out, obviously. Someone mentioned, why would we get back into it? Should we just go long here?
And carries, it's a lot moving.
We'll wait on it. But anyways, the reason why, so we'll wind up red on it, but it's not very much. I wanted to go short against, and here, I just want to show you quickly. Like, there was this right there at 60. So that, to me, was potentially a level. We had ripped up there, then we came in, we halted that downside, then we got that trade, then we made some more long shorts and outs there a little bit, then we shorted the last one at 53, and then out at like 63 or whatever price we got when that broke. So it's now halted to the upside, so we're gonna have to wait to see where that's going, and then we do have news about PayPal. It's not PayPal, but it was Tesla filing for some sort of a payment license, and we know PayPal and Tesla and Elon Musk. So we'll see if there's anything there. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, we do have another one making some moves here near the end of the day. This one a bit of a smaller cap move. Aquestive Therapeutics, AQST. They had earnings yesterday after close, but got a nice volume pop here near the end of the day, making new 52-week highs. Worth noting, too, it's not like they have a particularly small float or large short float. They have about 69 million share float. 3% of that is going to be short. So interesting late day move here up for AQST, guys.
Yes, sir, and thank you, Joel, for reminding me, although I was watching C3AI, but I appreciate the reminder. It just wicked the highs. I'm jumping back into this trade, but there was a great quote. It was Roger in the chat basically saying, it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. I mean, if you do that, then your account's going to go kaput. So AI, well, I just mentioned it with KRE. No need. It didn't make any sense. So it wasn't working. I got out before my stop because it wasn't making any sense. Let me just jump in. Get 18. Give me 8s. But the same thing with AI. Like, it was short here. It bounced off VWAP. There's no need to stay in the trade. Get out, look for another re-entry, which would be off of that high of the day. Hopefully we can get that any second now. Hit the offer. It's not going to hit the offer. But I'm not going to chase it. Not going to chase it. We're going to hang on, see if we can't get that fill. There we go. We just got the fill. And again, it's going sideways, so you'll hit the offer eventually. 18,000 just bounced again. Why don't I like anything long? What would I long at these levels? That's a big cap tech name. It's definitely not Amazon. As I say that, I look over, is Amazon above 174? It is not. So that doesn't look all that great for a long trade. We'll just stick to the shorts and keep shorting the pops here. And Ryan's saying a firm short. I don't know about a firm. A firm was very strong today. Oh, never mind. That actually is not. Oh, a firm underneath VWAP. That's the same setup as the other under VWAP trades that we're doing, which is look at the range. You get 20 to 25s, and you're getting out 39.60. That's 25 to 30 pennies on a $37 stock. It's almost a full percentage point. I like it. Good look. But I got 3 that we already like. So AI off the high of the day. You're checking KRE, which is going to be open in a couple of minutes, I suppose. Just cannot seem to stop halting on NYCB. I keep saying KRE because of the ETF.
Not quite open yet for that, so we will wait to see what is going on with this one right now. So NYCB waiting for that. So PayPal is not doing anything, and Palantir is really not doing anything either, as the market just hovers around. So we'll wait to see here what is going on with that. But yeah, for right now, Palantir making a move back into some of these levels again, 26.16. I was thinking about going long here, and I think we probably will against 26, but yeah, it's fallen in. We don't have very many shares left. We have actually almost no shares left. So let's see if we can get a dip buy into this, and then we'll see about that on Palantir. Look, Coinbase just keeps on bouncing off this 200 period of 237. I'm waiting for much lower on a break, but crypto's holding out fine at 67,250. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot here as we drop this in and see. But there's crypto. Whoa, there's crypto here in a 1 minute. This is a 1 minute chart? Okay, so it's really made a move back up here in the last little minute. So
the high that is close.
Yeah, so we're right here right now. Let me just drop this in and see if we can get like a 15-minute chart. Yeah, so we're coming in. So we got to watch out for this Coinbase. We already have our stop, so let me just, it's been a while since we talked about this. 241 is the stop on this one. So we still have a ways to go for that one. But for right now, we'll hold out for that, and we're going to wait for 58.30 or so to come up. Maybe we have to get a piece out at VWAP, but maybe there's some movement back up to the upside for PayPal. Pretty stupid. There was something, I mean, it's right here on Benzinga. There was Tesla, where was it? I'll have to go back and find it, about them filing for a money license or something. So I don't know. We'll see. Square, PayPal.
I would think like this. Wouldn't that be
Socks short, says Frank. Wouldn't that be what?
I was going to say, like, pay for PayPal. That's not necessarily good news, but I don't know if it's that big of a deal.
Well, they're going to need to partner with somebody.
Yeah, they partner with somebody, but would it be? Yeah, I guess it makes sense. The connection, his connection, Elon Musk connection, would be with PayPal. I guess that makes sense. But there's nothing definitive on it just yet. Maybe that's NYCB's back open.
Oh, it's going to the downside now.
Yeah, it's starting to come down. Oh, I'm not going to flip to it. I just want to get it.
I went short. So I'm short here at 54 on the halt. So let's see what happens right now as it is halted. And looks like they're trying to buy it up. Can you get short more at 50?
I'm on the offer.
If you want, we'll wait to see.
On what gateway?
No, I'm short at 54.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, I didn't get filled on the offer on any gateways.
No, as soon as it opened, I punched it. So, all right, so there it is right now. We'll hold the short again as it opens back up. And hey, all this thing needs to do is get to $3 and we'll be flat on the stock. Let's see if that happens. NYCB, not really moving around too much. You guys shouldn't have too much FOMO if you're not trading this. Honestly, it really hasn't moved. I mean, it's moved from a percentage standpoint, but very hard to find directional play here on NYCB, as there it is again, man. Coinbase, if you want the dollar, you could take it. It's right here, right now. Let's see what happens with Coinbase. Was that a call for Adara?
Yes.
All right.
Is some context there with regards to that X headline? Elon Musk saying here at the Morgan Stanley Tech Conference going on yesterday and today that X is a few months away, to quote him, from receiving approval for the New York money transmitter license. Just to kind of clarify that story that Sean was bringing up there, that's the story there. Also, another update with regards to X, though not necessarily going to impact Tesla. Elon Musk saying that X is considering getting rid of showing the number of likes and retweets on every post. So really just some news here with X. Some more Tesla-specific news, though. Earlier this afternoon coming that the German plant in Tesla that was hit by that suspected arson is going to remain without electricity until the end of next week. That's citing a Tesla spokesperson there from local media. So a little bit of context there with some of that Tesla and Elon Musk stuff, guys.
Speaking of Tesla, look at the 178 level right now on Tesla. And I know this because I was trading 178 earlier. I had the 178 short, re-shorted it off the high. Should have just left it alone because once it broke 78, didn't need to have that trade, but a tight stop on it. It looks like you got some serious resistance at 178 here. It's only like it's giving you a few cents. What is that? Like a 50-cent range? Maybe a little bit more than that on Tesla off the 178. If it goes up there and you get another wick, a chance at a wick, that's worth a shot. That looks pretty solid on Tesla. I don't know if we'll get Google again. And with that bounce, that last bounce off 18,000 on the NASDAQ, this was me trying to get Intel, it just popped up again. I'm just going to move it to 20s. I feel like this is starting to run out of steam. The one that I should be in, and I'll definitely cop to this. So Intel is the one we went back to off of VWAP at 44.50, and it's now down at 20s. Marvell, which we were short up at 82.40 and tried to get back into VWAP. At the same time we're looking for VWAP on Intel, Marvell was giving you VWAP, and that's dropped like 70, 80 cents. So Marvell a little bit weaker. I did not get the reload on this, but that's how the market works. Like, the better the trade is, typically speaking, like if a stock is falling, it's harder to get hit on the offer. Right? Like that should go without saying. Sometimes you do just want to hit the bid every now and then. Not every time, not every stock, but that is definitely a situation where I should have done. I've canceled my order at VWAP. If it gets to VWAP, a whole lot of other mess has happened to get it up there. But Tesla started to roll over. We added the C3AI at least, so we're able to get that one to the south side. Bitcoin ends up not breaking that high. I feel like that was a little anticlimactic. When you pulled it up, I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to break that top. And then once again, for the umpteenth time today, I look at BTC, and it does not break the high of the day.
Yeah, we're $3 in the money on Coinbase. So there it is right there. We told you, man, believe in your trades. This was on the sticky note, so we had that listed. So F yeah, right there, props it up. $3, $2.70. You know, that's it. We just talked about it. I said, you guys get out of it if you want. We're looking for a bigger trade. So there it is right there. We've given many different styles of trading here today, man. And there's just another one. We'll still stay in Coinbase and see what happens right now. Palantir is falling down here. So we're going to have to get out of this one as we break a little bit lower now, running into VWAP here for Palantir as the market collapses all over itself. So we did take a long. We got out at 03s or 02s there, but we are long right now at 26.06. Trying to lick some wounds here on Palantir. We'll take some out at 93, but we should have got out there once it broke through 26, but we were watching out for some Coinbase as Coinbase continues to go. There it is, man. It's a 1, a 2, a 3. We've had a $4 winner on AMD or so today, maybe $3. And then here we're doing it again with Coinbase. So yeah, if you're looking for some of those big trades, guys, you know, these are the ones that set up. And we've actually talked about this. This is the best market for big trades. There's also some scalping opportunities, as you guys can clearly see. But if you're looking for like huge winners, you just kind of got to be right, and it's hard to be right. But when you are, it's payday. And then there it was. Apple's a good example of that one today. So, I mean, just how much it fell down. AMD, I feel like, has been a great example of that today as well, including these shorts here at 211. And there's the cover there at 208, so $3. And then Coinbase right now is almost $1, $2, $3, $4 now in the money. So I think it's 3 or 4 now that we've run to that side. So far, so good here today. NYCB is now open again to, again, very lackluster open. Like it opens where it closes. And
it's now not moving at all.
And now not moving at all. So we'll hold on to this short, honestly. I'm just going to punch out if it breaks 370. I just don't want to be really involved in a halt. like those are uncontrollable, so we'll have to wait for those halts right now and see what happens. It's only 324. Palantir, I'm just going to keep getting out, man. It's trying to bounce around a little bit. This is getting really violent down here, and I don't really like this trade. So Palantir, we've made some money back. We'll give some back here as well, as we meant to get out at 26. Now we're just kind of taking 5-6 cents extra of a hit here. And NYCB, honestly, man, it's like kind of just chilling. It's really Coinbase that's been
50 to 57 since the open on a ton of volume. Like it's doing a boatload of volume, but in a very tight range. So trust me, the algos and the market makers are loving that one because it's fantastic for them because they get so many fees. But yeah, as far as a move goes, when it's moving dollars before at a $3 stock, for it to go 5 or 6 cents, percentage-wise, it's fantastic. It just broke the 50 level. I was waiting for it to break 50. I'm going to try and take that. Oh, and it's right back through. Like I'm on Intel right now because I just got out of it. I just took the profit at 44.20, but I was about to hit 49s after it broke 50. Before I could even hit enter on the key, I was seeing 56 on the offer again. Like that stock is insane. But I got out of Intel. I talked to Patrick about this as well. Like it doesn't matter your style of trade or whatever you're looking for. Just make sure if you set it up, have a reason for getting in, have an out, and then does your reward justify like the risk? Like Intel, do you want to short this all the way to the high of the day? No. Like I'm not short at 44.60 to give it to the high of the day. Coinbase, you short to the high of the day because it's at the high of the day. But something like this, you have to find yourself a different entry. It shows you a fail at VWAP. You're risking 10 cents to get 30. As long as that lines up and you like the direction, you have a reason to be in, then that's fine. Am I really going to punch if this breaks again on NYCB? All right, can I get it? Oh, it's SSR. There we go. Oh, I know what just happened. Aha, Neil. You had to stop that. I did it again. I just punched out for a 2-cent hit right away. Dude, 2-cent win right away on a 49 short. I'm going to try and get it again.
Ooh, man. All right.
There we go.
Guys, it's just like this. It's like we've already written down here Coinbase short. So now that it's $5 in the money, what are we supposed to do other than tweet it out? Thank you for 16 comments and 7,000 views as well on that. So there it goes, man. Now we're really starting to bleed out. Bye-bye. See you later. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, that one? Nah, forget it. Make sure that you get a call from Kathy Wood. Nah, we don't need you. Just make sure that you floss it off. Shout out to Fortnite and everybody who is flossing right there today. And you should always floss. I told you that story about getting the floss. All right, $58 here. Wait to see. This was just let's punch and see if there was any story there. Adara's already come out with it or already told me about this, and it's not any kind of a major story. That is PYPL. Right now. So I feel like we will just probably get out of this and then move off of PayPal. Palantir is trying to come back in a little bit right now. We're going to punch out of PayPal. Palantir back up to 26, so a little bit of a hold. Not much. We'll see if it wants to go back up again to the upside. And we only have about 15% or 20% left of, 20% left of our Coinbase. So great trade, capped it off. It's going to be a good one. You know what's funny thing is, Target's still number 2. Target was another $5. Sorry, was this $5? This is $170.50. These two outs here, $174.75. So that was $4 there. Still a really top stock on the day for us is Target right there making those moves. All right, NYCB. I mean, what say you, man? I'm going to bid 320. See if we get a fill down there.
I'm bidding through the last halt price in this range was a bottom of 333, so I'm out in front of that one. But I want to quickly update. C3AI came in. We got the 90s. We were short this one at 08. Up like the risk to here, we got a wick up there, but the risk on this on the way back in is a local high, so it's about 10 cents worth of risk. When it goes 20 cents in the money, when it takes some profit out. But NYCB, because the range is tightened up, like I'm just looking at this halt range. Right, it's tough to see in there. Can I zoom in? It doesn't really matter. This is about 330, where you had a consolidation after that last halt down, and then it broke up, and then supported 30s. So I think the next step down would be 30. If it breaks 30, then suddenly it could, in theory, have a wider range. So I'm just playing off these little halt ranges on NYCB. So if it breaks the 30 level, I'm taking one out, and then I want to hold for $3. I tend to think $3 is important because that's where everything hit the fan, and then that's where everything bounced. Simple as that. I feel like a lot of people have no idea how to price this stock right now, and $3 seems like a nice bouncing spot. So if it gets to $3, halts or no halts, who cares? Get out, take the profit, and run if you happen to have it. MLGO, David Kyles is running. Micro Algo, that's a penny stock. Oh, it's not at $1. Little triple top action on MLGO. Where is this thing? I love these sometimes in the afternoon if they're breaking a huge level. Not really. If that triple top was here instead of here, you might see me punch long. But that's kind of punching a top that doesn't, like, it's got significance today. It doesn't have significance on the daily chart. But a good look, if you're in the long off VWAP there, you got 10%. I mean, that's what penny stocks will give you sometimes. We talked about mean reversion just now with Sharif. Pull back into VWAP, holds, right back up into the top, and maybe it reverts back into the bottom. NYCB just printed those 30s, so now I will move my stop to break even and see if this gets down to $3.
All right. I was waiting at 31s there, so we didn't get 31s. Maybe we'll put 33s on board. And damn it, Sean, we had gotten out.
You got a
there
Magic Johnson that.
Oh, there it is. We got it. 30. You got a 32 there. Yeah, I just got 33s. There goes from Patrick Ewing. So we
Isn't
just
that Larry
got.
Bird?
Is Patrick Ewing too, though? No.
No, yeah. Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah. They were both 33.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We
ironic.
got out of Palantir. Okay, so I'm just going to punch out of the rest. All right, we're done. We're done Palantir right there. So we actually, that's my bad. Because I got some out for bad, we had some offers here that just got filled. So now we're out of Palantir. So we'll just go, we'll just do something that we haven't done in a minute. I know what I want to do, this guy. Travolta's like, come on, man. You know, don't keep your orders out there. But we get that fill there. I was trying to let it go up, but we'll take it. 26.06 long, some outs underneath it at 94, 95. We talked about it, and some out there at 13. But at the end of the day, where's my fail? It's a fail. We won't make money on that last Palantir trade. It dipped below. I missed the 26 out because we were like, oh my God, Coinbase. And Coinbase continued to fall even more. Look where Coinbase is now. It's 330. What's up with Adara? We'll see if we can get that story. But the balances, they haven't been working.
No, they've been out for almost not almost. They've been out the entire week.
Right. So shout out to Adara, who's been sort of waiting for those. But we're coming back into support, so take it if you want.
No, all I was going to say is we can look at some individual New York names, which we'll do every single time, just in case there's something. There is not much today. I see CCL with a buy of 850,000 early look, Pfizer with a sell of 700,000. MFC, Manulife, it hasn't bounced all the time. They tend to not matter. And then BEKE, that's like a small cap or something. But that's not that important. So there's not a lot of individual names. NYCB has an early look imbalance of 400,000 to buy for what that's worth. I mean, the stock's only done 100 million shares. Suffice to say a 400,000 early look imbalance does not matter on NYCB when it's done over 100 mil. Back to Adara at the desk.
Yeah, another late day halter that just opened up here. Solwyn Holdings SWIN. This one's been moving up the last couple of days. No news on this, but there's a lot of Twitter mentions, especially within the last 5 to 10 minutes. Also worth noting, 2 million share float, so small float, 1% short float here for SWN, now up over 200%. And we are brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk by many of our traders every day. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link in the description for 20% off.
All right. Working on the podcast document. Okay. We'll get some docs. Tonight we do have Chris Breter joining us one more time. He wants to talk all about ARM. He has some information about ARM in March 12th. So I'm going to repost that. Join me tonight with this individual who talked all about his escapades in Vegas last time, which was a lot of fun. Caught me off guard for sure. Shout out to Chris Breter coming in tonight. So look, NYCB came in there at 330s. So we got that 331 or 333, like we mentioned there. So we'll wait to see if there's any kind of push back in. We have to wait for that trade. I only have that in Coinbase. So Apple's come out already, bleh, not doing much right now. Roblox was like a really good trade until this happened and we realized we didn't have any long left. Look at these longs in Roblox today, absolutely huge, and they're wonderful, so that was a good one there. The other trade there, we had PayPal, that just came out. I took the shot there at 25. We got out at 13s as that just faded around a bit. I'm just going to watch Coinbase because guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $5, Adara, and still going down here for Coinbase. We did it, everybody. There's the big winner you wanted. Shout out to Kevin Mendoza. Shout out to everybody in the chat. When you guys ask for big trades, this is what these are. These are big trades. $5. I mean, if you want it, you take it. Share size up, share size down. But this is a good trade for Coinbase. We talked about why we liked it. Again, crypto possibly topping out there, and Coinbase goes right. I mean, it's also on the sticky note. This is what I'm trying to do every day. Like Palantir long, Amazon long, Disney long, Tesla long, Coinbase short. You know, so some of the trades will work out, some of the trades won't. And today it's been a real good day. So we're pretty happy with how everything is working out today. So far so good. We'll just be patient with the rest of this day and see where we go.
18,000 broke on the NASDAQ, bye-bye. We just broke support on the NASDAQ. That's been holding all afternoon. It's gonzo. We've talked about mean reversion. It's clean, 33.10 into 32.7. So we'll grab a point and a half. C3AI has been giving it up off the top. I don't know what's going on with Palantir. Remember, there was literally no reason for C3AI to be up other than the fact it was riding Palantir's coattails. And when the market fell, it gave us that trade. Risk 10 cents to make 40. But that said, I'm going to make a correction there. Because if you work out of it in 2 legs here, your average out is 80. Right? So really, that's an average out of 25 to 30 cents with 10 cents worth of risk. So we have to think about like what is your average out to risk to reward, because you don't hold the entire. If you hold the entire thing for the move, then you can say the RNR in that case is 4 to 1. It's about 2.5 to 1, but it's also VWAP. And let's go to Adara to see what is happening in afternoon sector watch.
Yeah, good one.
We're going to go over some of the names in the S&P 500 making outsized moves that maybe we haven't talked about yet, including Progressive here. PGR is going to be the ticker for this one on the NY, up about 3% after getting an upgrade to overweight from Morgan Stanley and having its credit ratings reaffirmed positively for both the company and its subsidiaries here by AM. So nice look across the board for PGR. We also have Dexcom up over 9% after getting FDA approval. First time ever for a glucose monitoring device without a prescription. So nice look here as well for DXCM. Last but not least here, we have one moving to the downside. That's going to be BF.B. Brown-Forman, pretty weak earnings here and expecting flat net sales for 2024. So BF.B very much to the downside. So much happening in this market today, including some of these S&P 500 names, guys.
Right. We're just topping, I don't know, we just keep saying the same thing, but we're just like topping our day off. I don't really have that much to talk about. Now we have NYCB is a monster here. You guys can see that. I mean, it's doing monster volume. It's not really a monster trade. We're just 10% in the money. And then we also do have Coinbase again as well. So yeah, man, we're bouncing off VWAP. I'm just going to hold this in case we do completely collapse into the close. Pretty confident with trading here today, if you can see. So yeah, you know, it's going to be a big day. Really happy with it. Just setting up for the market recap show where we'll talk to Chris Breter about ARM. We'll talk about some. Oh, do we have the earnings board today, by the way?
We didn't. We keep not doing it in the morning.
Oh, we do. Okay, good. So she's going to get it. Ramin's going to grab that for us ASAP.
ASAP.
Yeah, we're not going to worry about it. There's not too many names on there. I just want to have a
Tomorrow's
quick look.
a big.
Yeah, see, like tonight, what are we even going to look at tonight?
Victoria's Secret. We don't really.
You know Victoria's Secret symbol?
No, actually, off the top of my head, I don't even know. I probably never pulled it up once, to be honest with you. And I just said that because Honest is in the middle of that. But I think tomorrow morning is a little bit more interesting because Billy, you've got Big Lots, you've got PaySafe, Fuel Cell. Like those are a few names that'll actually move around. American Eagle, like that'll move. So you got all the movers are tomorrow morning. I do think. I feel like in the afternoon. But there's always. I mean, you could have Trade Review, in the aftermarket show. You got to recap what's going on with crypto, this 18,000 level. You've got NVIDIA. We didn't even talk about SMCI. Didn't dump or anything, but SMCI off the top. When NVIDIA...
We're talking about Crowdstrike.
When NVIDIA, Crowdstrike and Palo Alto to mention, but when NVIDIA pulled back off that 900 level and went like 10, 15 bucks, SMCI dropped like, I mean, in that moment, SMCI dropped 30 bucks. It's now down 70 off of the highs and back underneath 1100. Like, this thing has been going absolutely ham. You know, I saw Michael Noss shorted this, which is not usually something that he does. He mentioned it. I don't know, next time he's on, I want to ask him what like the thesis behind it, because he's very much, we know this, he's someone that likes to be with the trend. And he says that all the time. He's a trend trader. If you're a trend trader, although this has been so top heavy, let's be real, a lot of people are probably trying to short this thing.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we're doing. And remember, this is what makes our show so unique, okay? Is the fact that, first of all, I'm going to get out if we get out at 235.25. If this breaks higher than that, we're going to get out. We told you, we're holding 20%. We're still going, we're topping up the day. Like, we're not going to let this get carried away for us here. Is that Neil and I will show you our ins and show you our outs. And if you simply just ask us about a stock, we'll tell you if we're green or red on it, anything like that, right? And it's like, Michael Noss does lots of stuff throughout the day and lots of different things. And obviously, he's a big member here. Been with us basically for one of our very first guests, probably, since this new format. And the thing is like, it's hard to judge like where people's ins and outs are, you know, like.
That's why I was curious. I was
right.
just like, I wanted to know the details. I'm genuinely curious. Genuinely curious.
When he's on, he's going to be on what? He's on Fridays, or I don't know when he's on the main show, but I think he bookends the week or something. But we'll ask him. We'll ask him about SMCI. I mean, I flat out called him out about Bitcoin. He said that we were not even going to break through 50 and just go sideways, and we called him out on it. And he went over another play that he really liked, which was MSTR, and this name has been an absolute monster, although, of course, this is MicroStrategy, continuing to make moves higher here as Bitcoin and everybody else just rips faces off. So MSTR now with a pullback, that's for sure. But essentially, this is just like a crypto ETF in itself, very highly levered one, where they could just raise, they raised $60 million or something the other day to buy 10 more coins or whatever it was. So I guess more than that, 60 million would be more than 10. But as you continue to go to the downside here for MSTR, you want to watch that one against crypto as well. I don't know. NYCB it made a move down.
It's not moving anymore.
Yeah, it made a move down into 20. So I was wondering about this. I'm going to put a bid right into here, just because I'm going to trade it like a normal stock. We have VWAP, we have the 50, and we have the 200. So I'm just going to bid this and hope that we get a move down.
I'm just gonna move the trail to previous resistance, 340.
That's probably good.
I'm gonna trail it at 340. It's also 342. That the time of the day matters here as well. So I don't see myself getting into anything else. We got VWAP on AI. Intel, I don't see, like, our out was pretty much as good as we were gonna get on the Intel shorts, and it never came back into VWAP. I'm still in Alphabet, which, like, it's hard to tell, but it's still underneath that 130, 130, the lower high. I was short. The last short we had off of 75, I got 66s. That's barely even moving, so there hasn't been much to talk about. I'm going to cancel my offer. If it gets to VWAP, I don't care. It'd be really nice if Alphabet would actually print 146, and those could be real, because I recently bought some. Off the 200 period moving average, and NYCB, I just tightened the stop, and it just came out. That's how it would be sometimes. That's all right. It was a breakdown of this level here at 350. The best it got to was 30 for myself anyways. It then pushed down into 20s. So I missed a chance to get out of 20s because I thought maybe you'd get down to $3 again. So NYCB on the rebound. I did trade this. Obviously at the time I didn't know what was happening. I just saw the news come out and it was like a flat bottom breakdown. So I just shorted it, took some out in front of this low, and then took some out when it bounced off of the reopen on the whole price. It bounced for a second, like, I'm out. Let's not mess around with it. And then it just completely capitulated all over itself. Probably going to settle down tomorrow. It's breaking back up, but I'm now out of that trade. Do not see myself making another one in NYCB, at least not until tomorrow.
I was thinking about reshorting Apple right now, but we are into the close, so this is... Like we got out right here at this level. Apple's been, again, a really, really top stock here, but we're going to have to wait. I mean, it's just hovering around. I don't really want to do anything. So
just to answer a question,
yeah.
silly confidence, the early look on the imbalances,
I was just going to open those
the people
up.
that have the guys or whomever it happens to be that has the early looks, they haven't been publishing them. They say they have some technical difficulties. So all we can look at is individual names, and it's still like RIG, MFC, CCL still there, Pfizer still there. Pfizer to sell 800,000, CCL to buy 880,000. Those are individual New York names. And then at 350, we'll get them. But there just haven't been any, the overall market number before 350 has not been coming in. So.
No.
And we tell you, like, we don't keep it to ourselves. Like, we tell you guys every day when we get it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the imbalance locator. Yeah, Neil just had it up, so there's not much on there. Pfizer was making a little bit of a move, I thought, today up to 27. So we could wait to see if there's some sort of a sell. Oh, look at that wick. Boom. That's too bad. Okay. Palantir with a small little bid. Hasn't done much so far. Looks like Coinbase may come out soon, which is fine for me. Breaking back above 235. So watch out for that. That's going to be one last trade. What else you guys want to talk about? What about Crowdstrike? All right, so we do want to talk about this today. Crowdstrike at the lows of the day right now, looking to get lower and lower and lower. So again, you know, when and if we write this book of ours, we're going to talk about pre-market trading and, you know, what you need to do if and when levels start to break, especially on earnings. And I just feel like when you're looking at levels like this, I mean, here's the top right here at 362, that, you know, in the pre-market, that was the bottom. So again, you don't really want to get too involved in the middle here in the pre-market. But once this breaks, once the market actually opens, now you're going to get a huge candle here. So whatever happens in CrowdStrike right off the open, I mean, it's going to be basically anarchy that it goes down from 362 and in the same minute down to 352. That's $10. That's going to be nearly impossible to get. But as you get closer and closer to the open, just like I did on Target, I mean, I'm here to tell you guys, like Target right now, P&L wise, number 2. You know, number 1's AMD, number 2's Target, and we had baby shares here at 170.50, but it broke the pre-market, and then we broke yesterday's high, so we got into it, and it was able to pay out. Now, whether or not, you know, it falls down or comes back up, that's where you start to use VWAP and 50-period moving averages and things like that. This is a pretty easy trade to get away from once the range breaks. So I feel like on CrowdStrike, and we will talk more about this on the after show, which is only going to go to 4:30 because I got a game to go to. But right now, this is that was the trade. Other than that, a pullback to VWAP would have been gold as well, and then since then it's over with. So
speaking of pullback to VWAP,
yeah.
If you wanted something less volatile, but in some ways maybe it even wasn't, PanW had a pullback to VWAP in the afternoon at 285. That in complete and utter hindsight, it should be obvious why I should have had this trade. A, because I put it in the chat. Hey, look at PanW at 285 when CrowdStrike's breaking lower. Said it. I was trading something else at the time, but it doesn't matter. This bounced off yesterday's low, oddly enough, right around that same 285 level. It should have been support turning into resistance is one of the easiest concepts to find on a chart, because if you can't look at it and just blind, it's obvious to look at. You don't have to interpret an indicator or anything like that. It's like, this is a level that people bought. And they then bought it again and it failed again. And then suddenly, right after breaking that support, it turns into resistance. Does it set up again as resistance? Absolutely at 285. Those wicks in here, let me zoom in for you just to give an idea on this short. Like it goes to 284.97 is that high. A couple of times down to 284.76. So you're reasonably able to short 84.5. Reasonably, 84.5. And your stop could reasonably be just above 85. It's less than $1 risk on a PanW, and it's now down at 277. It did not hold on to that 280, by the way, which for those paying attention means Palo Alto could be on a collision course again with the 200-period moving average. I say this all the time. Are you trading it or are you owning it? If I was trading Palo Alto personally and I was long at that 260 level, would I have covered when it rejected the 50-period? Sure. But if you're owning the stock, I don't care. I'm holding it so that my daughter can one day have Palo Alto shares for reasons that I hope she understands. A little bit. Yeah, she probably would understand. Actually, she'd understand now because she knows what hacking is, and I would just tell her when the bad people take over machines, these are the guys that save them, and then she'll love the stock.
Yeah, my kids, I'm going to hopefully, we'll see. I want to turn all these into a nice RR, our riff right there. But I like Palo Alto. We're building for the long
That's good riffing.
for sure. Yeah, good riff
That
rap.
works now. I don't know.
Okay, so Tesla for a long term. Okay, we can
Bounces in 10.
we can have a look. So again, for long term stuff, I like Tesla. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not selling any shares that I have in Tesla. I think it's way too depressed right now for what it's worth. The EV space has been an absolute disaster. And you can look at many different companies for that.
Apple's a million sell.
Oh, the imbalance came out. Okay, good. So let's see what this market's doing right now. It's starting to go to the downside here on a big sell. So I didn't even realize the market was doing this.
What's the
let's get rid of broker, and then we'll look again. So Apple million sell. I mean, well, gee, who would have thought about that one? We've only been short Apple here today. So there it is. Nice little push down. Not really doing much, though, guys. I'm not going to be sitting here explaining this, but not much happening. Microsoft, we haven't looked at that today. Let's see if that can hold 4 bills. Another interesting name that I haven't lightened up on, but another big position. So we'll have to wait for that. Google.
It's overall 1.3 billion.
Is it
sell.
1.3 billion?
But remember, the last few days we've had
Look at these wicks here.
We've had a 2 billion day. We've had like a 2.5 billion. So 1.3 billion to sell is actually a little bit smaller than normal. I didn't even see. I mean, Google's not. Oh, there it is. It's a sell imbalance of 700,000, but it's really still not moving. So I'm just gonna get on the bid in front of the quarters. We're not going anywhere. We're above 18,000 on the NASDAQ, and again, I know like these wicks have been out of hand. You have the same ones as I'm looking at here on Google, but this local bottom is 131.25, and the local high is 131.65. So you're talking about a 40-cent range on Alphabet. That's why I have not gotten back into this. I got into it once after we started the afternoon show and then went to other things because this was not really moving. We're just going to take it out on the bid here. As 18,000's holding on the NASDAQ. So we want to make sure that we can get out, take a little profit. If I put another position on, I think it's a little bit unlikely. But Google's still in the penalty box, and we're back underneath its 200-period moving average. I actually just bought some of this. Was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? No, it would have been 2 days ago because it would have been on the bounce off of the 200 period. So anyways, I would have gotten filled 2 days ago. Today's Wednesday, so on Monday. But we're back underneath the 200 period moving average. This is under the 200 period. Apple is under the 200 period by a lot. And then in Mag 7 territory, Tesla is under the 200 period moving average. Everything else, if they get there, I think you're smiling and you're just, my hands are out for Microsoft if it even sniffs it, but I don't even think it does. Because Microsoft has to pull back over 10%. So if you think, someone said yesterday 11% on the Qs for a pullback. If the Qs do that, do we really get 355 on Microsoft, or do you get like 370 or 380? Either way, I'll probably be buying once it breaks the 50 period. But it's you got to be patient for some of these. If the weaker ones, I'm really waiting, because Tesla 150, collision course. I'm just saying, 150. Maybe 155.
Yeah, I've already. I mean, I can't sell NVIDIA today and buy it back tomorrow, right? So if you're gonna make these plays, you got to make these plays. What is NVIDIA at right now? 883. So I sold it at 894 today in my own account. So I was pretty happy with that move. But again, it doesn't mean it's the right move. It's just something that I'm doing. So you have to wait to see where it pans out and if there is, anything there. With NVIDIA. Tomorrow, this thing could open up 920, 930. Upgrades, whatever, just starts to rip, and that's that, right? I mean, we were getting some of this out at 780. I have to look back to find out where I got filled, but all of those positions, we keep on telling you guys. But again, we sold that. Sharif turned over and asked me, what do we do with NVIDIA? I said sell because it was close to that 900, and I felt like, just a mental top there of 900, but the same things happened at 800, at 700, at 600, at 500, 400, 300, 200, 100, where they all go up to these levels. They have a sniff and generally will pull back. And then if it wants to go, I mean, Obviously, we're at
Well,
$900. No one stopped this thing from going through 700, right? So could be a play at some point, but there it is, man. We're gonna just cash out now, and I'm gonna get over to the other side because we're ready to go. NYCB, hopefully it fades out. We're short at 54. I just put a bid there at 44. That obviously didn't fill. I might just punch out, see if we get a half print, which I think we just got 46 there actually. No, we got 46 half. So we just punched out there 46 half on NYCB to close that trade. What?
No, I was gonna say like 80% of the volume right now is going off in the dark at the mid.
Yeah, that's
as a day trader, so I didn't have the level 2 up on that one, but it's like, and that's the
why
case.
I used to use a dark pool.
Yeah, and so here at Real Trading, some of you guys might not have access. We have access to like, there's more dark pools and midpoint keys than I can care to count, but you have access to them, and sometimes it's just the best way to get a fill. I was actually talking to Wayne about this. You know, if you can save, say you're trading NVIDIA with a spread, if you can save 15 cents here, 20 cents there, and you're going to trade it every single day, let's say, and on every single trade you save yourself 10 or 15 cents by getting a better fill on your way in, that adds up over the course of a month. So it does matter. I know for a lot of people you don't care. If you're swing trading, you probably don't care about those pennies, but it does add up at the end of the day. So execution is going to be a big deal. At 355, sometimes you get things pairing off. Well, today, pretty much all the big cap techs that were up there around 1 million have paired off. I don't see any of them over 500,000 shares. So those imbalances, the sell imbalance on Google and Apple, those paired off. HPE sits there at 1.6 million. I don't think anybody cares about that one. I was going to say something about ARM. Because ARM holding up 2%. I really thought if the market flushed, ARM would give it up. And this has held a bit of a flag above the 135. Still think at some point this is going to absolutely get destroyed. But I'm a little surprised this only rolled over $3 when SMCI pulled back a bunch. Last I checked, it was like 80 bucks or whatever it was. NVIDIA had that pull off the 900 level, and ARM manages to hold on to the afternoon range, catching a bid at 136. Have to make sure I mark that one off for tomorrow, that ARM didn't fall over itself, and we got ourselves a key level now at the 136. It is a week yesterday, so we're going to get that IPO lockup. It doesn't mean SoftBank is going to sell. Crazy if they're not going to. But if they don't sell, I think people are going to be freaking out. Fried Chicken Man 8, I should say. That works for me. CVNA, what about him? Well, I have to ask Max. I don't know. Max is the CVNA guy around here. I haven't traded Carvana in a hot minute, and Carvana gave it up today. Carvana failed 80, down to 78, still up on the session. What I care about for a name like this, so you go gap up, breakout here. So broke out essentially off the 75 area. Hold a higher low, hold a higher low, holding on to 75. Can it take out the next top? Squeeze names need to break highs to scare people. So it's in a consolidation phase. The next step after earnings would be to hold about there, the 75 level. When it broke out 60 to 62, things went absolutely nuts. Can it do the same thing at that 75? That's what I'd be concerned with. Good look yesterday because you could have bounced off around that level. Today, you're trading away from it in the middle. On squeeze names, I don't diddle in the middle. It's so easy to get chopped up on a name like this. It's significant up at the tops, significant down there. Lots of chop and a good way to get, I guess, just messed up in that middle trade in Carvana. It's one thing when you have a read on something, but for squeeze names, if you just like those breakouts or like the bigger moves, then typically you want either the best price off the support or you want the breakout and continuation trade when it's going somewhere new and doing something new. That's what excites me about a Carvana. Joe Schmo says Crowdstrike long. I'd let this one settle down a little bit. Let it settle down for a day or two. This is, we talk about, you know, people understanding that the market's going to do whatever it cares about, and it doesn't matter what your logic or thesis is. Your job isn't to make sense of the market; it's just to make money as a trader. That was the lesson of the day today, and I think it's an apt one. Let CrowdStrike settle down and give you some key price levels. It feels like 325 could be something. It was previous resistance, but just like on Palo Alto, on PanW, if you just waited for your opportunities, okay, so Look at 303. When things settle down in PanW, there's a level that's set up for a short. There was a decent level that's set up at 85, should have been a reverse, but it showed you the important levels after earnings and after the stock has calmed down. You can start to find these levels. Crowdstrike's in a discovery phase. So let it discover things on its own. I'm not going to mess around with it too heavily. I'll trade some PanW like we did today, but Crowdstrike, give it a couple of days. It'll show you some better levels, and then we can work into it. NYCB is still at 345. If you had told me after all those halts up and down, it was going to be within 10% or 15% of that $3 level, I thought one way or the other it was going to crack and go at least another 50 cents to a buck. But that should be wild tomorrow. 130 million shares today. You know it's going to be crazy tomorrow as well. But get the camera off me and throw it on Adara, because we got the countdown. Hump Day, Wednesday, is over for the markets in 3, 2, and 1. And the market held on to 18,000, NASDAQ up 0.6, the ES up 0.5, Bitcoin pretty much exactly where it was before. So Bitcoin, an absolute nothing burger, right up at those highs. It never broke that high. That's kind of a disappointment for BTC. I thought there was a chance that it would break it out. But shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s, as always, making us look and sound good. They've been fixing my mic for like 20 times today, because apparently it does some weird things with some sound. Despite the fact that he was ragging on Intel for apparently no reason. Shout out to Sharif anyways for the lesson on shorting this morning, and great job at Dara as well, both trading and giving you guys the lesson on how to range trade some short trades. We had a couple of fantastic interviews. Brennan at the desk killing it, as he is apt to do. And you know what up. You've got, whoa. Okay, we're going to keep talking, apparently, here. Well, there's one thing I wanted to check out, so I'm just going to do it anyways, because I wanted to do my daily, how ridiculous is SMCI today? And the answer is, it bounced $40 at the close, and right back into 1130. I was just talking about this failing 11, and then wondering how Michael Noss was doing on his short, and before you can even look back, this is another $3 high. But try to remember, like 30 bucks on this stock, that's nothing. It's an $1,100 stock. $1,100, right? That's like a $10. That's like a $10 stock going up a few cents. So you know what up. You got the aftermarket show. You're going to talk about. Well, I know what you're going to talk about, some crypto for sure, and you're going to talk about what is going on with these crazy moves in CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, and cybersecurity. It's your market recap. I'm stretching it out again. We're going to Sean. We're not going to Sean. I'm going to go on more and more. You know what I'm going to do here, though? So we're going to Sean in a quick little second. But I wanted to go to a name that we literally did not talk about today, and I want to get this out of the way for $500 and Meta. Meta. Can we come to my chart? Because if I have to stretch, I at least want to talk about Meta here. Meta did this move. I had one decent short on Meta. Who cares? I only took like a buck on it. That should be a better. Fail 505. Fail again today to break 500, and then failing underneath the 500 level. If we fail break 500, Meta short tomorrow. If we fail break 500, got to short that Meta tomorrow. But now we're ready to get onto the market recap show. So we got to talk about Meta for the first time today. Let's get to the desk with Sean.
Thank you, everybody, for holding out on that. Well, thanks, Neil, for that. We did have some problems with some cameras. So we'll start here. That TV's still not on, but that's okay. I can see the red light. So here we go. We're going to wait for Victoria's Secret. This portion of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. So there it is. It's working now. Thanks, guys. We'll wait to see if it comes through here. VSCO. There's really not too many other big names coming through there again. As we go, there we go. I can see you adjusting the height. There we go. All right. So we'll pay attention to all that as it comes through. What a day for the markets today as we get TAN and FXI, the leaders here in the marketplace. As we go down, let's see what else is printing out here. XLU. TAN, of course, is the ETF for solar. So that was a nice move today. China bouncing back. We actually talked about some of those FXI worries as of late. Nice little bounce off the 50 period there at 23 up to 23.61. Nat gas downside today. Consumer discretionary downside. That probably has to do with Tesla. They're a big holding in consumer discretionary, XLY. Tesla making a move down now today. But not too many sectors in the red at all today. So you can call up the side thing if it's working. That should still be up as well. Let's go over to the stock heat map quickly to see what was on fire today as we go. Microsoft pretty flat, only down 0.2. We saw Google with a red day today, down 0.09. So that's not overly good for the long-term portfolio. And you guys know I'm all over Google. So that's a bad day. Meta up 1.2%. And then NVIDIA today. Did it close? It didn't close there. 887, did it? Did we get a nice little rally up there for NVIDIA at the end of the day? Let's just double check that one before we go. But NVIDIA with a nice move today as well. So let me just double check. What did NVIDIA do into the close there? Because I thought we were a little lower than that when I came over here. Oh yeah, okay, so it is a nice little bump up. So there's that move that we were talking about. Look what happened at 3:30. We were down at 877. That might not seem that dramatic for many of you, but honestly, that's a nice pull. From 897 down 20 bucks into 887, and then a nice move into the close. So my bad, NVIDIA still up 3% today. Was AMD still up today as well? AMD 210 up 2.63%. So hey man, these companies continue to win. I want to thank everybody for watching, man. It was another trophy day. We'll raise it around here. Big day for trade. Apple, Target was a big one. Coinbase was a big one. We will talk all about crypto as well. We have Chris Breter coming, and he wants to talk about ARM. ARM has been a trade that many of us have looked to. Bless you over there, Miss Ramin. Right here, 150 beautiful tops. If we ever get a chance to short ARM at 150 and we don't do it, please send a super chat calling me various names, because up here, we've had a couple opportunities to get this short. 150 has been pretty sweet. If we go over to the daily, that'd be good. Yeah, 150 right there. Nice pullback in. I like the short. We're going to find out why with Chris Breter very, very soon. For those of you that like the short in a stock, what about SMCI? This name again included. Me and Brendan were doing the podcast, and I remember Brendan was like, Deckers and SMCI to join, and I was like, nah, that makes no sense here. And then it was to join the S&P 500. So when we were talking about SMCI earlier, like during podcast days, you're down here 800, 880, 899 bills. Then this week we get that bump back above 1,000 and starting to go higher and higher and higher. Anything you guys want me to look at here in the chat? Yeah, okay, so it doesn't look like VSCO is out yet. Of course, that's going to be Victoria's Secret. So that number, we'll flip it over to a 1 minute. Looks like we're starting to head higher here on VSCO. So I'll type it in. I mean, I'm here for you guys. Let's see if we can find a VSCO. Anything out on this on the Benzinga platform? Nothing yet. So again, we've sort of caught ourselves. I remember when Carvana was out, it was dancing around like crazy. And I was like, Carvana's out, but it wasn't out. Even those of you in the chat were like, Carvana's out, but it wasn't. Or maybe it was, but we didn't have it yet. So I'm going to wait until something happens right there. I feel like for Google, I mean, we could talk more about sectors. That's kind of what we're doing right now. Gold. Look, congratulations to all the gold bugs out there. Let's go bang on that one. We don't have a gold. I'm going to take a sip. We don't have a gold graphic, but look what's been happening here. Let's go over to a weekly chart. And you know what? We talked about Michael Noss today a little bit on the show with SMCI. He's been talking about gold for a minute, and I've been talking about Barrick Gold from the stock side of things. But look at GLD on the weekly, GLW, not Corning, gold. A nice move upside right there. You know what was impressive there today when Adara, I think she's gone now, but she was mentioning when she said S, and Sharif looked around and was like, I have no idea what that symbol was, and then Adara goes Sentinel-1. I was like, what? So shout out to that one right there, and we just mentioned Corning, GLW, old symbol name. But there's a nice breakout on gold. That's starting to work. Is silver working? No. So again, more of a break on gold, nothing really on silver. Silver's still stuck here on the weekly chart as well. I just saw a stock Yext report. I thought it was Yeti. Oh, by the way, should I get one of those Yeti let's see, what is Yeti? What? I feel like I'm getting podcast mode here. Those Yeti coolers, I was actually looking at those. Those things are $500, by the way. Ah, shit. Both these youngins over here are telling me to get it. Okay, well, all right. So I'll be getting a Yeti cooler very soon coming through. You know what else we got? Actually, Costco's going to be reporting soon. They have this really great pull wagon that you can get. So High Park, unfortunately, has no parking in High Park, so we gotta walk in to High Park, which is a great walk. It's really beautiful. But we have our baseball equipment all the time, so we got that to pull that through. Thinking about a Yeti. Look at Yeti. When does Yeti report? Let me go over here quickly. Yeti reports Feb 15, so it's done by already. There's Dara. I was giving you credit for Sentinel-1. I thought that was very impressive how you knew that symbol. So that was a good one right there. XLF breaking higher again. Do we take something out here in the financial sector? We'll see about XLF. I've really loved JP Morgan and all of that, but XLF really starts to work. We talked about a break of XLF over here, $36, $37. Nice move back up to the upside. FXI's been a good one. I'm still not seeing anything, guys, by the way, on VSCO. So if there is anything on Victoria's Secret, everyone's favorite secret is Victoria's, and that one seems to be moving. I don't know. That was, yeah, it was okay. That was okay. Well, how much out of 10? 3? I'll take it. I'll take a 3 out of 10. You know what I mean? I mean, we've been on air for a minute. Thank you, everybody, for who's here with us right now. Let's do a quick roll call. Why not? Because I'm in a good mood today. We don't have too many earnings going through right now. So who's here with me? Where's Marvell? Who said Marvell was reporting today? I don't think they're reporting not today. But here's Marvell for you tomorrow after the close. Yeah, Marvell ain't today right now unless you're looking for Iron Man right beside me. That was okay. Was that like a 5 out of 10? 8 out of 10. I like it. All right, Mr. Kevin Mendoza. Hey, here's my guy. This guy's always saying, Sean, where's the bangers? Where's the bangers? Target today, $4. AMD, $4. Coinbase, $4. Tesla, $2. Where's the bangers? What's up, Kevin Mendoza, my guy? What's up to Dewey, Anton, Danielle, Jay? Hey, look, man, we have over 3,500 of you watching right now, and I appreciate that. We've got the big man, Chris Breter, coming through right now. What's up, JJ? VSCO is moving, says Ritz. Well, when Ritz says something, we're going to go have a quick look. So VSCO potentially moving around a little bit. Yeah, it is doing the dance. And this is why we don't report anything until I see something. All the way up, then all the way down. I still don't see it here, but trust me, if it's reporting, I will get it to you. Look, when we're ready, we're going to go to Chris. So you just tell me when we're ready, because I want to talk to this guy. He's got some information on ARM, and it better be good, Chris, coming out there. We'll talk about that. He also wants to talk about Bitcoin. So Ramin, are we ready? Then it's Trader Talk. We are ready, and we are ready for you, Mr. Chris Breter. How's it going, my friend?
Fine. Thanks for having me on a week early.
Have you now recovered from Vegas?
Yeah, I've.
Because I remember
I don't
last
know about
week.
some of the people I went with. They still have some just nightmares about
What?
stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to tell you that real quick is I was pretty proud of myself that when we did a roundtable, I did. In fact, I mentioned last week when I was on your show about being really bullish on gold.
Right.
Because of the commitment of traders, the commercials were less short than normal. So that was pretty exciting to see gold explode. But now we're out.
Okay, good little indicator there on gold. So are you just joking about that, or that's kind of what you're thinking about when you see more? Because we talk about that all the time on the show, and me and you are going to talk about Bitcoin in a minute, Chris. It's like when you get into that Uber or you start getting friends randomly texting you about Bitcoin, I feel like that might be the top when we get people finally looking into it. Have you ever thought about things like that?
Oh, yeah. When I had my surgery, I had emergency surgery early last year. Every doctor and nurse asked me about Bitcoin, and that was the intermediate top. But I have a better story for you.
Let's go.
I have a friend in Las Vegas. Luckily, he's not listening to this, and he will remain unnamed.
All right.
Who was massively bearish in 2008. Massively bearish. So he sold his house and lived in his car and traded from just outside.
That's wicked.
And then the market crashed.
Right.
He bought a bunch of real estate. But I just talked to him when I was in Las Vegas. And I've talked to him like once a week, and he's massively long Bitcoin. So it's really hard to fade someone like that. And I traded with a prop firm in the 90s, in the 2000s.
I feel like it's tough to talk about people that are massively long Bitcoin or even short. Short Bitcoin's a different story because it's at highs right now. We don't know where these people are long. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where Bitcoin 13 years ago was $1. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm long at 10 grand, I'm gonna pump the tires of Bitcoin right now because we're trying to break through 70. I just find it difficult for that. I bought on the dip. You can come over here into IBIT. This is the ETF that I'm using, IBIT, just iShares. I tend to like it. It does good volume. And when we crashed in to 60,000 earlier this week, or was it late last week, on some of that Coinbase, and yesterday as well, actually. I've been buying this in and around $34 in that 60,000 range for Bitcoin. So I feel like that's a decent level that could possibly hold 60K or something. What do you have to show us here on Bitcoin?
Well, number one, I have to tell you, my son is a big computer gamer and computer nerd. And so every computer he's had for 10 years that he's not using, I save just in case one day he opens it up and finds Bitcoin. So it just drives me nuts. I'm scared to death to get rid of the computers. But first things first, what I see in here was all about MicroStrategy. That's what I emailed about.
Yep.
Is MicroStrategy doing a secondary yesterday? Even though it's not of a big secondary, a lot of traders got spooked because they thought, well, if MicroStrategy is doing a secondary, they must think that it's stretched or that Bitcoin stretched. So that's why yesterday we were bearish on Bitcoin when MicroStrategy floated that secondary. But just short term. I mean, that's just a short-term trade. But I'll show you because it was pretty exciting.
All right.
And I actually posted this on Twitter that when you saw the bear flags in Bitcoin yesterday, just like you're talking about that ETF you're doing on the long side, this ETF you could do on the short side, the BITI, or to buy puts in the BITO when you see defined bear flags.
Why would you, why do you pick these instruments? Like, I see MSTR off the offering. I can understand that, and I think it's like a levered way to play Bitcoin because MSTR just yesterday was $1,000, and you can see today $1,200 again. Is that why we look at MSTR? Like, for me, I just think we have so many Bitcoin. You just talked about BITO, BITI, things like that for Bitcoin. There's so many ETFs right now. Why do we even want to trade MSTR? Don't we have single stock risk there in case Michael Saylor changes his, I don't think he's going to change his opinion on going long Bitcoin, but what if he decides to dump like basically tons of Bitcoin and then sail off on his 5 yachts or whatever and take out of there? Are you not worried about some of that risk with Michael Saylor himself with MicroStrategy?
I just look at, hey, what happens if he splits his stock? I mean, holy cow.
Right, okay.
I'm just looking at it as the perception intraday. That them floating a secondary meant that bear flags are more likely to work yesterday in Bitcoin. So that was just a one-day event.
Chris, give me your opinion on Bitcoin. You talked about your friend being super bullish. What say you at these levels as we approach all-time highs?
That's a great question.
Why, thank you.
I have to see this. I have to see on Bitcoin. I hope you can see my screen.
You can now.
For me to do a swing short in it, I have to be able to draw some kind of trend line on some kind of intermediate term line.
Did you just say you're looking short? Are you looking short or what? Like, this is what I'm trying to find out. I want to find out from the guests that come on our show what they're thinking about Bitcoin, because if we break north of 70,000, I honestly think, Chris, we could see 100. Like, I feel there's so many people right now thinking that we're double, triple topped up here, somewhere around 68,000. And if we break that, then you're going to start to see a mad run. And when that happens, then I don't know where it's going to go. So I'm not trying to look short, but are you trying to look short?
I'm not looking short till I see, on the floor, we were always like, we're not shorting till we see the whites of their eyes.
Right.
Basically, you're right. I'm not hearing everybody, in the public talking about it. and I don't see that massive weekly or daily reversal candle. I don't even see an hourly. I mean, except for like a 1 day blip, but we're not getting that kind of trend line development that makes me think that it's a real top.
Right. Okay.
So I'm sorry, I'm not saying I don't want to short it. I want to see that panic like you saw in GME in 2021,
Yes.
followed by the reversal candle.
So we'll wait for a big volume. But Chris, I do have to interrupt you because we have breaking news right now. Bang. That is Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret is now out. This is something that traders have been looking for. Victoria's Secret right now up 11%. Q4 earnings, 258 beating 247. Sales is a miss. So they're missing on sales, but we'll figure out what's going on right now with Victoria's Secret. Nice little move upside, hit the $30 mark. If we flip over to a daily chart right now on VSCO, we could see, look at that. Look how good that looks, Chris. Victoria's Secret up to $30. We've seen this high before. It was sort of the drop-off spot back a year ago, man. Back in the May quarter, that's where Victoria's Secret started to dump in. Bottomed out, obviously, as every stock did in October, down there to 14. Victoria's Secret, congratulations if you're in this one. You got a double from the bottom, but you are slightly pulling back now. Look at that. This is why you guys want to be here for the market recap show. We just touched that level of $30. VSCO now pulling back in, man. Victoria's Secret, nice little move. As you can see, negative earnings per share, but coming out right now with a nice little number. EPS of 258 versus 247. VSCO starting to make a little bit of movement. Oh, wow. Now we're starting to go to the downside right now on Victoria's Secret. And here's one little story. I'm going to go back to Chris in a second. This just popped in. Sees Q1. So here we go. Maybe this is the guide. Q1 2024 net sales. There it is, guys. To decrease mid-single dig compared to last year's. So 6 billion versus 6.2 billion. We'll slap a fail, Chris, right now on Victoria's Secret as that's starting to head to the downside. Look, you can't be a growth stock, maybe like Victoria's Secret is, and then miss on sales and guide lower. I thought retail was pretty strong. Looks like Victoria's Secret to the downside. Did you see anything in the options market, or were you looking at this before today? Let's be honest, you probably weren't. But what do you see now on VSCO?
I was wondering if that announcement was a thinly veiled threat. I've been waiting to say that.
Yeah, you have.
I just want to let you know that. But no, all kidding aside, the only thing that isn't going for this stock is it already rallied into earnings as opposed to a lot of the other retailers that had such a low bar. So this is actually, you know, it's tried to have that nice rally into earnings. I mean, it's doubled in since October.
You know what?
So I was just looking at that as one of those just rally, disappointment, not target now, but target into the last earnings, what happened and how the bar was so low and it exploded to the upside. And this one, it just seems like a push to me. So it sort of rallied into earnings, but it just seems like a non-event. And that's one I really should have done a neutral idea. I looked at the calls and puts, and there just wasn't unusual enough for me to play it.
We nailed that target today, man. We went long at 170.50 here, guys. If you show this in the pre-market, there's my long in the pre-market. Unfortunately, we have all these crazy wicks. We got out at the top of the day there for $4 or $5 winner on target. That was a banger. We were out of that one before 10:45. Good takes early on target. Nice little blast up. But in my opinion, Chris, there's only one retail to rule them all. Well, first of all, I guess there's two of them. You watch Lord of the Rings at all?
Sure.
All right, well, my ring is this, Costco. Tomorrow, Chris, we got Costco.
Yeah.
Costco has been an absolute monster. I don't even know what to say about this thing. I tweeted something out on my day off on Monday. We went around Costco and we spent, you know what? I just put the card in. I don't even look at it. I'm going to say north of 500 bucks. And it just made it look silly. But Costco, straight up fire, reporting tomorrow. This thing never misses, does it? Costco up 17% year to date and still making moves. I think there's two places to be in if you're going to be in retail. I don't know what happened to my heat maps over here, but I think that there's, there it is. I think there's Costco or there's Amazon. Prove me wrong. I mean, are we buying Abercrombie up here? I like Costco. I like Amazon. You excited for their release tomorrow at Costco?
You know, it's funny. I actually went in there to buy a packet of keto mix for $20 because I wanted to see if I could go out of there not spending less than $200 or $300.
And
so I actually went out of the way just to do something in there. But I'll tell you what's interesting
what kind of
about
gloves
this
did you buy?
Pardon me?
Oh, keto mix.
Yeah, it's nuts and all that.
I thought you said like karate gloves or something like that. I was like, what is this guy doing over here?
I don't even know if they
Are you on the
those,
keto diet or what?
Pardon me?
Are you doing the
No,
keto?
it's just I just am trying not to buy their cheesecake or their pecan pie. Their pecan pie weighs 20 pounds. So I figure I should
Costco is
stay
bad.
away from that. But
Costco is bad.
in answer to your question about Costco, which I think you'll find really interesting,
Sure.
is how many times it's sold off prior to earnings.
All right.
And then gone up. I mean, prior to earning, I mean, I'm in awe when you look at it. It's had a tremendous amount of sell-offs into earnings, and that was the bottom.
Yeah.
So this is really odd to have what a monster rally into earnings.
Huh.
So the last time really was this one in December. And if you look in December, it opened up on earnings and then sold off.
Okay. What is that green? What is the green line?
I would play a fade on a big rally.
What is that green line that you have there? What kind of SMA is that, or what is that?
Oh, that's the ATR trailing stop. That's
Okay.
Something I've used for years and years. I try to go on all the time on the side about basically to keep you out of trouble, a trend following tool like a moving average or
right.
like the VWAP.
All right.
And as you see, it's kept you out of trouble from trying to bet on the downside. The only caveat, when it gets this far from the ATR trailing stop, it's usually a big warning sign to not chase it on the upside. That's why I'm talking about shorting rallies in Costco tomorrow.
Chris, I wrote beside your name ARM, and it wasn't because of your arms. It was because of the stock ARM. All right. So right now we have ARM, and I didn't want to bury the lead. I know what you're going to talk about. We've talked about it on the show a couple times. Let me ask you the question. Why do you think ARM is a short?
Well, the problem is I think it's a short on March 12th. So we could go to a million different sites, but one of them we've done is marketbeat.com.
Yep.
It's free. It's free. It's not a competitor. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because it has IPO lockup periods.
Okay.
So 6 months after an IPO,
Look at
companies
this.
can start dumping the stock.
I like
The
that.
thing-
Chris, you're dropping us a nice little resource here. I never heard of this website, marketbeat.com. So I see ARM right there, and there it is right there, right in the middle of your screen. Yeah, right there, the 12th. So number of shares, a paltry 95.5 million shares coming out. Obviously, it's now up triple from that price. So what is SoftBank going to do?
Well, first thing is SoftBank came out and said they want to do some other kind of chip venture. Plus, they did the IPO in WeWork and lost like $14 billion.
Exactly.
So you got to think they're going to sell some stock. But it's an art. And the reason is something like Meta might be owned by 1,000 different private equity firms. So the 6-month lockup doesn't mean they have to sell stock. In this case, ARM, they own 90% of ARM.
Right.
So they're probably going to sell. But in the meantime, between now and March 12th, there isn't a lot of stock out there. So it's really hard to position short into them maybe selling. But most of the companies that have had that much stock to sell, they rally into the day of that and then they gap down. So it's a real art. Do you go and do a spread now for the end of next week? Or do you close your eyes and close your eyes and do it? Or do you wait until that exact at the very end of the day on the 11th? So what we did, instead of doing, let's say, a 10 lot of a put spread, we did one. and then we'll reevaluate March 11th.
All right, so I feel like that's the smart way of doing it. You go in there and you get the options right now, get a couple dates out there, and then play it as it is. Because you know what, Chris? I almost think that it could be rug pull time. They don't sell anything. Everybody's waiting for it. People have to cover these puts. And next thing you know, this thing rockets and they make a couple billion extra dollars because guys like me and you now have to cover, or whoever wrote the puts or whatever winds up happening on that. You could get a little bit of a delta squeeze back up to the upside. We'll see what happens on ARM. All right. Look, we're getting a little bit extended there, but I do want to thank you for hopping on. Thank you so much. You're still on for next week, Chris.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, the more the merrier. Anytime you need me, I try to be able to make a fool of myself as much as possible. So anytime you want me on, please have me on.
Well, we appreciate that, and so does everybody that's watching, over 3,000 of them right now. So thank you so much, Chris Breter. Have a great evening, and I'll check you next week, and we're going to watch out for that ARM short and Bitcoin. Whatever happens there is going to happen. We're looking for that 70,000 break. Thank you, Mr. Breter.
And Costco.
And Costco, we love that. Good luck with those Kung Fu gloves. See you guys. Kung Fu gloves. He said keto nuts or something. Like that doesn't, keto what? Mix. I saw someone in the chat and they're like, man, how is this guy hearing Kung Fu gloves? I was just playing around, but I guess that didn't go over that well. But anyways, shout out to Chris, man. Always great stories, and I want to thank him for all of that. So thank you, Chris. You know, it's not just about talking about the market. You got to be a little entertaining at points as well. So thank you for that, Chris. I mean, it's probably why I'm sitting here. Wow, look at Victoria's Secret, man. That just pinged out at 30 bucks. Like, what a great top that was. And again, associated with the breakout of the high. So right there, 30 bucks. We did not break that. And now look, 20 and going lower. It is Victoria. And guess what, Victoria? Your secret's out. And you're going to the downside, down 23%. All right, sticky note review. Let's do that real quick, because you know what? It's my daughter's last game today. So before they have a little bit of a tournament in Brampton, but I got to get there and get going. And as I see this, I do have to log in over here into Twitter. So we'll work on that. Oops, something went wrong. We will not be getting sticky note review today, but we will talk about some of the trades, because the trades that we had on board today, we talked about Target. And the thing about Target was, let me just show this real quick. This is going to be the number 2 P&L stock of the day. The number 1 on the show, I'm not just talking about my account, I'm talking about the show. Number 1 was AMD, number 2 is Target. And the reason why we like Target here, if I can zoom out, you see yesterday they had earnings, then look at this high, 170.50. As soon as we took that, we talked about this. We talked about it when it was at 169. It got upgraded today, and it's a day 2 play taking out the high. We like that trade, so we took it. We took it in the pre-market. I took it with not that many shares, but again, when it goes to the upside, we got to cash it out once, twice, thrice. Good outs there for Target. I'm never going to take a lot of shares in the pre-market. Been burned on that too many times. But right there, Target was a pretty good play. Another one. We did have Palantir. So Palantir is going to look a little bit rough, and then I got to wrap this up. Too many trades on Palantir today, but let me explain to you what we did. So if we could just zoom back out. We had this early when we sat down here at 8 o'clock. That was a good trade, breaking through 25.70, couple good outs. But when it fell back in and failed at the 200, we lost. Then it came back out, failed again at 25. We got crushed there. Okay, but then when it came back out, Palantir was going to be a fine stock after all. We were able to buy that bottom into 24.50. That was a good one, ran that back up. But then once we were here and we could find some of these areas for support, we were able to make some money back, and then eventually we don't have it, but we ticked out 2 52-week highs at the end of the day. So Palantir long was right. It's about execution and time of day. Once we saw it give that level in the afternoon, that's when we should have got more aggressive, not right away in the morning. We learn our lessons. Look, today was a trophy day. I don't have anything around us, so we'll just cheers the water. I hope everybody had a successful day like we did, and we're coming right back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, baby. We're ready to rock and roll, and I will see all of you then. Thank you so much for watching his Trader TV Live. Go follow us everywhere at Trader TV Sean, at Trader TV Live. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's everywhere. Ciao, and see you tomorrow. I'm coming home.